Tradoon. capture tune?
Genetics GSA has a new sound for their 4 listeners.
present to you the top 10 weirdest looking dinosaurs. I want to state the obvious and tell you that I'm going to be butchering the names of these dinosaurs. In at number 8, we have the Tradoon.
In 1856, the fossilized teeth of a small dinosaur were discovered in Montana. The species was aptly named Troodon, which means wounding teeth.
Tradoon.
When evolution passed out the stealth gene, Troodons lucked out.
Tradoon.
This drawer contains almost all of the North American identified specimens of Troodon.
Troodon was every inch the predator, with razor-sharp serrated teeth and large, hook-like claws. Troodon probably fed on our ancestors, the early mammals. Troodon may have posed a greater threat to mammals than any other predator on Earth. Troodon was suddenly cut down in its prime.
Tradoon.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Paleontologizing. It's great to have you here. Glad you could join me. I hope you're ready for some fossil goodness today. Holy cow. Today, we'll, I think, finally get around to talking about Nimravids, those false saber-toothed cats. Said we were going to talk about that yesterday. Kind of forgot about it and ran out of time. So we'll be talking about that today. And also, today, September 12th, happens to mark the anniversary of the 1940 discovery of the cave paintings in Lascaux in France. We'll be talking about those too. I'm gonna venture a little bit outside of my comfort zone here because I know next to nothing about this. But it'll be a neat opportunity to talk about Pleistocene megafauna and how recent those critters were in time compared to, say, dinosaurs, which are what I work on. If it's your first time here, then welcome to Paleontologizing. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach, you know? Talking about my own work on dinosaurs, digging up dinosaurs, studying dinosaurs, publishing on dinosaurs, etc. Talk about my colleagues' work, talk about some of the newest discoveries in fossil science, and some old discoveries too. But maybe most of all, I'm here to answer your questions about topics like, well, dinosaurs in particular, because that's what I work on. But also evolution, extinction, the fossil record, the history of life on Earth, the philosophy of science, all that good stuff. So, if you've got any questions at all, please do not be shy with those. That's the bread and butter of these streams, you know? So, yeah. Before we get into any of our topics for the day, though, and before we talk about what's on the old 3D printer right now, let's go through chat. Let's say hi to everybody real quick. Scrolling up to the top. We've already lost the top of chat. Holy cow. But Kodali, Duck Admirer, Desmodus, Ghostly Ghoul, Calamity Now, Kodali, Grilled Pikachu, Oscar Jr.'s Incinerate Gaming. How are you all doing? It's great to have you here. Welcome. Steely Dan, how are you doing? Photos Mint, what's shaking? Good to have you here. Neilf, hello, hello. And Genetics GSA, thank you again for the raid. I really appreciate that. Do we have anybody here still here from Genetics GSA? Let me know. Up.
Aren't you the man who told me to live every week like it's Shark Week? And that nothing's impossible except for dinosaurs? Don't give up on life, sir.
Lil Uzi Nate, thank you for the 27 months of support. Good afternoon to you too, Lil Uzi Nate. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for keeping me here on the air for the past 27 months. It's a long time, and I really appreciate that. Yeah. Here, let's check out Genetics GSA here on Twitch. Oh, and very cool. Yeah, so they were doing a stream with Balint, it looks like. Well, well, well. This is awesome. Here, let's unmute that. Yeah. The Genetic Society of America. It's wonderful to have a raid from you. And welcome to Twitch. This is super cool. Neat stuff. Holy cow. Interview with Balint on here.
Yeah, I will repeat it. So I'm Kaushal, I'm based in
Follow this channel right now, everybody, if you're not yet doing so.
in Belgium, Flanders region, and I'm working as a scientist.
This is super, super cool. Balint, are you host of this channel?
In simple water, aquatic extract.
Naive
And then we
question
start
for you.
with
Early career
What is the
researcher,
extract of a plant?
Bastik.
My brain just
Bastik.
imagines you put a plant into a blender and you drop that onto a dish.
Exactly.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah, you press that in a sauce.
Super, super cool. I just followed. Go follow Genetics GSA right now if you're not yet following. Looks like they're doing some really cool science outreach. Awesome. It's great to have you here. Yeah. And there we go. I've got an intro from Genetics GSA. We are an organization of geneticists doing interviews with scientists from lab, industry, science, communication, and more. We love science and are glad to be part of your community. Welcome to the community, Genetics GSA. It is great to have you here. I hope you stick around. Yeah, we've got so many other people in chat. Holy cow. Yeah. Holy moly. Rizadego, Sandwich Nom Nom, that Texas cryptid. Hello to you. Everybody loves the Tradoon song, huh? Dr. Irrefutable, hello, hello. Only Saurus, howdy. Thagomismer, glad you're here today, Thagomismer. Welcome, welcome. You're one of the first today. And Lasco, my favorite moldy rocks. Yeah, we're going to talk about them, Thagomismer. And I'm going to be learning a lot, too, because I don't know a lot about this topic. So we'll discover it together. I'm not a Pleistocene guy, you know? I'm a Mesozoic guy. I work on dinosaurs. Pleistocene stuff, that's all overburdened. But it's interesting overburdened sometimes. So we're going to get into it. Yeah. But yeah. And mummified megafaunal creatures in Europe and Russia. Very cool, Adult Viper. Yeah. Papa Meow Meow, welcome, welcome. Good to have you here. Did I say hello to you yet, Golganek? Welcome, Golganek. It's always lovely to see you. Hope you're having a great day. Now, how are you doing? Ontogeny indeed. Sysadmin, welcome, welcome. Tolkien Otaku, how are you doing? Welcome to you. I hope things are good in your world. And 4 books next to you. Well, very cool, Thagomizer. We're going to watch some videos on it. Yeah. Holy Lifton, hello, hello. How are you doing? Welcome back. And Science Streams, it's wonderful to see you too. I hope you had a great stream. That's pretty cool. What you're doing with Genetics GSA there. Very nice. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see what's on the 3D printer, shall we? Well, first, let me show you what I was printing yesterday. Remember we were working on Laseutosaurus? And we had just finished that print? Well, I did some cleaning of that, and take a look at this. Really nice. Very excited about that. And it's funny, looking at this, look at how big these orbits are, those eye sockets. This is not a mature animal. Like, I'd be willing to bet that. Those eye sockets are enormous. This is almost certainly a juvenile. So, once again, ontogeny, something we gotta consider here. Yeah. But isn't that really nice? And very cute with those giant eye sockets, Golganek. Yeah. So yeah, there is another dinosaur that is known from the same formation. I believe it was named in, like, the 90s or something? Stormbergia, I think? Stormbergia. And the funny thing is, it redirects to Lasutosaurus when you search it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 2005. Stormbergia. Danger Shokai. There we go. Yeah. Large Fabrosaurid, finally named in 2005, dubbed Stormbergia Danger Shokai on the basis of the partial postcranial skeleton. Specimen over this specimen. This species almost certainly represents the adult form of Lasutosaurus. So, almost certainly just an adult version of this. So, Lasutosaurus probably not as small as you might imagine. This skull would be from a juvenile animal. So yeah. Yeah. And thank you, Ken. Hey, I'm excited about this. Thank you for being here, by the way, Ken. It's good to see ya. Yeah. And, yeah. There's all the different skull bones we got right there of this critter. This reconstruction's a little bit different. This is from Button et al. 2017, I want to say. But yeah. Yeah. We've been talking about all these different skull bones in this animal. And I'm actually excited at some point to do a human skull. We're going to be 3D printing a human skull and sticking it together with some magnets, because even your skull, like all you watching right now, your skull is not one bone. It's made up of a bunch of different bones. A complex and beautiful arrangement of different bony elements like this. Paired bones and single fused bones like that. Yeah. So, very excited to, let's see. We might print that pretty soon, actually. I definitely want to do it before Halloween. Because we're going to be talking all about skulls and skeletons before Halloween, of course. But there it is. This is the one that I'm going to be printing. And there's actually a lovely video here that shows how it all fits together. Yeah. Pretty cool stuff. Held together with magnets. I believe I might still have some magnets on the wish list. Or no, I don't. Somebody bought me those magnets. Or no, maybe I do? You should check the Amazon wish list and see if you'd like to see this come together. Yeah. Anyway, pretty cool stuff. This is going to be a wonderful little teaching tool to have, and I'm excited about it. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. And, first a small Lesotosaurus. Lurfs. Thank you, Golganek. And is there evidence for beaks on dinosaurs? Lil Uzi Nate, there is. There actually is on this critter. You can see the beak right here. So there's one whole half of the dinosaur family tree we call ornithischian dinosaurs, and they had beaks, including this guy right here. He's got a nice, beautiful beak. We call this the predentary bone in the front, and all of the ornithischian dinosaurs, these plant-eating, beaky dinosaurs, they all ate plants and had beaks. So there's the beak on the lower jaw. The beak on the upper jaw would have been probably keratinaceous. So made of keratin, the same kind of material as, like, your fingernails. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. And cleaned up nice. I haven't even cleaned it really yet, Thalo, but thank you. Appreciate you saying so. Here, let me adjust my light here real quick, and then I'll show you what's on the printer. Yeah. That's better. Yeah. We'll go like... that? Does that work? Anyway, yeah. And does a beak on a dinosaur always mean one made of keratin, or does it sometimes just refer to the shape of the mouth? Well, there's always keratin on it, so a beak has to be keratinized. And the cool thing is there's some dinosaurs where, we can kind of see the transition to a beak. An animal that shows what happens when you're first evolving a beak. So dinosaurs like Erlikosaurus show this. And I would show you as a 3D print, but my, there we go. But my 3D print is with black filament, and it doesn't show up well on camera. But this is a Therizinosaur. So it's... Here, I can find you... I think this one's better. This one should be better right here. This is a... what we call a theropod dinosaur. So it belongs to the same group that birds evolved from. And, most theropods are meat-eating dinosaurs, but Erlikosaurus and its fellow members of its family, the Therizinosaurs, specific kind of theropod, they're developing what we call a toothless Rhamphitheca. So, a beak at the front of the snout with no teeth in there. And this, in life, we can tell would have been covered by a keratinized sheath. You know, like a bird's beak, kind of. It's interesting that this develops first in the, you know, in the upper jaw, on the premaxillae, and not first on the lower jaw. You see the front, the very front of the lower jaw. Right there, there's no teeth. So it would have been a little bit beaky. Actually, probably a lot beaky, but it also has teeth. Up, not in the very front, but at least here. Whereas in these guys, on the other side of the dinosaur family tree, the beak first develops in the lower jaw and is more pronounced in the lower jaw, and they retain teeth in the upper jaw there, those premaxillary teeth, rather. Yeah. So interesting stuff. Different ways to evolve a beak. You can start at the top, upper jaw, you can start at the lower jaw. And that might have something to do with how these animals were feeding. Therizinosaurs like this, they were fairly tall animals. They might be like high browsers. Erlikosaurus looks a lot... Yeah, this is one of my favorite Erlikosaurus drawings. Really, really nice. I like that a lot. That's, There we go. That's good stuff. That's really good stuff. What a beautiful animal.
Let's protect our fossils, because if they're removed, America loses them forever.
And Zephyr Poet, holy cow, thank you for turning that gift sub into turning that Prime sub into a Tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that, Zephyr Poet. Thank you, thank you. Enjoy not having to worry about your Prime expiring every month. It'll just renew now. And you're supporting science outreach here on Twitch, and I really appreciate that. Zephyr Poet, I really do. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. So anyway, yeah, these dinosaurs, it's really cool how they're part of a group, the Therizinosaurs, that evolved from meat-eating ancestors. And they're basically in the process of becoming full-time herbivores. They're really cool critters. They're really cool critters. I like them a lot. And there's that gorgeous skull. You see all these images of it there. I've already 3D printed this. I just need to paint it properly so it'll show up on camera. I have it in the living room right now by my plants. I guess that's very appropriate that it's by the plants, being a plant-eating animal. But yeah. Anyway. Good stuff. So yeah, a lot of dinosaurs developed beaks. In fact, beaks evolved how many different times in the history of Dinosauria? Once at the base of Ornithischia, at least once in ornithomimosaurs, at least once in ceratosaurs, at least once in oviraptorosaurs, at least once in therizinosaurs. There's probably more. There's at least 5 different times that beaks have independently evolved in dinosaurs, which is really cool to think about. Ceratopsians would be descended from that basal ornithischian. Javasaurus, yeah. Ceratopsians, Thyreophorans, Pachycephalosaurs, who were part of Marginocephalia, probably. But yeah. Miss Yvette says, just you and your 3D prints and your plants, and my roommates. But I honestly don't see much of them. They like to keep to themselves. Yeah. Carol Spinning would have been too short to play a Muppet Therizinosaur. Is that Big Bird, Golganek? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Oh, this guy. Away with you.
Big Bird, yellow stars on television.
There we go.
Probably don't know his name or recognize his face. Need a hint? He is
Anyway.
better known as Big Bird, a role he's been playing.
The funny thing is, therizinosaurs kind of are like Big Bird. They're like an upright walking, bipedal, you know, kind of ponderous, beaky, feathery animal. Like, therizinosaurs really are like Big Bird. They resemble Big Bird more than Big Bird resembles an actual bird, which is kind of funny, you know? Yeah, it's kind of wild to think about, you know? Yeah. It looks like a therizinosaur. I mean, shoot. Yeah. Just a big, shaggy, feathery thing walking around on 2 legs. And probably not really meaning any harm to anybody. Yeah. So at the Dinosaur Museum in Blanding, Utah, they've got a big therizinosaur model. And it is life-size. Therizinosaurus itself. It's huge. And it doesn't look kind of Big Bird-like. I did a live stream from here back in 2021 with me and Lordy. And, holy cow, it's truly impressive when you see it in person. It really is. And hang on a minute. Is that... No. Hang on. I thought this was a fellow paleontologist here, but no. This looks vaguely similar. Stenner9, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing, and hello to you too. How are you doing? It's good to have you here. Yeah. So yeah, therizinosaurs, cool animals. They're weird, and they were a big mystery for a long time. We really didn't know what was up with them. Like if we go back to our, thank you, Tommy Plodicus, for gifting that sub. I really appreciate that, Tommy Plodicus. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. If we go back to one of my favorite dinosaur books. This book was my childhood right here. The, Illustrated Encyclopedia of Dinosaurs by David Norman, illustrated by John Sibbick. Go into the theropods, and I believe there's a, let's see, Lurosaurs here. There's one chapter that's just called Miscellaneous Theropods. There we go. Ones that were mysterious, and we didn't know where they belonged. And one of them right here, Segnosaurus, or a Segnosaur, these are therizinosaurs. Back then, they were kind of envisioned as, like, maybe being fish-eating dinosaurs? Like, nobody really knew what to make of them. Yeah, because we didn't really know what they looked like. We didn't have any complete skeletons or anything like that. It would take some discoveries from China in order to really make that clear. But they've got these enormous, weird, bulky pelvises like that. It's a really strange shape to the ilium. And it turns out that's because these guys were starting to walk upright on their hind legs. Like this, like almost in a kind of Godzilla way. You know? They were starting to do this, which is really cool and weird. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. And yes, this book has been through a lot. Holy cow. Again, shout out to, Grandpa and Grandma Anduza, who got this for me back in the year 2000. Wow. It would still be 2 years until I was born, right? Right, chat? Yeah. Oh, yeah, but man, this book, there will never again be a dinosaur book like this published, because this, at the time, held almost the sum total of what we knew about dinosaurs back then. Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, yeah. Put that back. Yeah. That book would have to be huge. I mean, that book would have to be several thousand pages nowadays, because the pace of discovery has increased. We've got more dinosaur paleontologists working right now than I think have ever worked in the history. If you tallied up all the dinosaur paleontologists in the world right now, it would probably be several hundred. At the time that book was published, there were probably about 30 or 40 dinosaur paleontologists on the planet. Today there's at least a few hundred. Yeah. So anyway, it would have to be an enormous book nowadays, and the thing is, you couldn't publish it as a book, but because by the time you finally get it ready for publication, so many new things would have been discovered that it would no longer be comprehensive. So, dinosaur paleontology has officially moved into a state in which the discoveries are happening too quickly for you to be able to write a truly comprehensive book about the field. Yeah, shoot, we've had 2 new dinosaurs published just in the last week, right? So yeah. The internetification. There you go, Andy. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. About 150 paleontology enthusiasts in chat. There you go. Yeah. Anyway. And Miss Yvette, yeah, makes a good point there. In 2 syllables. Wiki. If you want to find the most comprehensive repository of dinosaur information available in a single place anywhere, it's right here. On good old Wikipedia. Wikipedia is wonderful because it is constantly updated. There are hundreds of people who contribute to just the dinosaur information on Wikipedia. It's pretty incredible. And the wonderful thing is, you can scroll down to the bottom of any article. This is the one for dinosaur here, and this should have a star next to it, right? Yeah, holy cow. Look at that. That star means that this is a Wikipedia featured article, which means it meets like some of the top standards that they have for Wikipedia. It's really good stuff. So anyway, it is wonderful that this is accessible to anyone, anywhere. And it's free. That's pretty amazing. Wikipedia really is a truly phenomenal resource. And it's pretty incredible. Yeah. So anyway, if you're ever curious about any particular dinosaur and I am not streaming in that particular moment, look it up on Wikipedia. And then you can go down and find the original... here, let's look at Stegosaurus right here. There we go. Say you want to find the original descriptive paper on Stegosaurus. Right here, Marsh, 1877. Do a Control F search for 1877. And there we go. There is the original descriptive paper, a new order of extinct reptilia, Stegosauria, from the from the Jurassic of the Rocky Mountains. There you go. It's amazing what a wonderful resource Wikipedia can be. Truly, truly astonishing. Yeah. And donate to them if you can. Absolutely can, yes. I already have this month. Yeah, it's free and peer-powered. Exactly, and they don't do, like, sponsorships either, because that could be a potential conflict of interest. They subsist entirely upon donations, as far as I understand it. And that's pretty cool. You know? So, a huge paleontologizing salute to Wikipedia. The funny thing is, when I was a kid, when the internet was still fairly new, teachers, you know, in elementary school, middle school would say, well, you know, don't use Wikipedia for what you're learning about because, you know, anyone can edit it and it's just not very good information. Holy cow, nowadays Wikipedia is a million times better than most other sources. Back then, teachers used to say, well, you know, maybe try the Encyclopedia Britannica or World Book Encyclopedia. You know, Wikipedia, it's an internet thing, you know, you can't trust anything on the internet. But on Wikipedia, they cite their sources and stuff is constantly updated. Let's do a quick side-by-side here real quick. Somebody give me a, shout out the genus name of a dinosaur. Not a super popular dinosaur. But, give me some genus of dinosaur. And, we'll look it up on... oh, there we go. Minmai. Dinosaur Dave. I was just talking about Minmai today, actually. Shoot, it's really funny that you mentioned that. Here, Wikipedia. Minmai. Yeah, Minmai paravertebra. So this is an ankylosaur from Australia. Ralph Molnar described Minmai in the early 1980s. I was talking with him about this morning in Berkeley at the museum. I kid you not. And I asked Ralph, how do you pronounce this? And it's funny because Ralph Molnar has a very precise way of speaking. He enunciates all of his words, and he says, well, with this dinosaur, you can pronounce it whichever way you would like, but the Australians pronounce it Minmai because it is a geographic name. And I said, oh yeah, Minmai Crossing is what it's named after. And he says, yes, the Australians pronounce it Minmai, but because it is such a unique name, you can pronounce it any which way you like, and people will know what you are talking about. And he's right. Anyway, yeah. Ralph's great. It's always fun running into him at the museum. But, some say Minmi. Yeah, and I've always said Minmi since I was a kid. I'm gonna start calling it Minmai, though, because that's what the locals call it. You know? So anyway, Minmai. And here they actually have to put the species name in there, too, because, yeah, there's other stuff with the name Minmai, I guess. It's like a music artist or somebody? Here. Minmai, music artist. Yeah. Anywho. So, this is Wikipedia. Excellent article right here. Description, phylogeny, paleobiology, and diet. See also, there's all of these references. Further reading. Beautiful stuff. They even have an original illustration based mostly on Kunbarasaurus. Kunbarasaurus, as Ralph pronounced it. Anyway, let's try this on Encyclopedia Britannica, perhaps. Yeah. Let's search this dinosaur. Minmi. Wait, what? Nothing. Nothing. They don't have anything. Not... Oh, boy. That's not great. But you could say, well, this is a fairly obscure dinosaur, you know? Well, Afrovenator, we could try Afrovenator, too. Afrovenator. I guess there's an article on Tetnuran dinosaur. Oh, no, it's from the dinosaur article. Oh, boy. But, you know, you search Afrovenator on Wikipedia. And holy moly. An excellent article. Excellent. Good stuff. References, further reading, a phylogeny, life restorations, a skeletal diagram with known material. Awesome. But, you know, you might say, well, these are obscure dinosaurs, Danny. What about, you know, the 5 dinosaurs that everyone knows? We'll look those up in a second. But first, Holy Lifton, thank you for those 5 gift subs there. Holy cow. Look, we're now up to 8. We're 1/5 of the way to our goal.
With those 5 gift subs.
Thank you, Holy Lifton. We will have ukulele if we get to our sub goal. So yeah. Holy cow. Yeah. Thank you, Holy Lifton. Thanks to you, there are now 5 people in the chat who won't have to worry about any ads until next month. Thanks to your generosity. Appreciate your support, Holy Lifton. I really do. Thank you. Megan M got one. Beautiful. Yeah. Is Troodon on there? Did they... Let's see what the Troodon article is on... They do have a Troodon article. So this is... Okay. Excellent. Oh, wait, what? No, I take it back. They don't have a Troodon article. You have to go to the dinosaur article. Oh, boy. Yeah. Let's search for, you know, a dinosaur that's been famous since the early 90s. Velociraptor, for instance. Let's take a look. Yeah. Is that it? That's it? This is the article for Velociraptor. It's a paragraph. And they've got an image which is grievously out of date. This is like... This was out of date by the late 90s. Holy cow, Dinosaur Dave, look! This wonderful bird, so excited about those 10... 10 gift subs. That's too many.
The Dinosaur Dave is overloading the system with 10 gift subs.
Holy cow, Dinosaur Dave. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Holy moly. Good stuff. Good stuff. Holy cow.
Really spectacular. Spared no expense.
Thank you for gifting Duck Admirer there. I admire your generosity, gifting Duck Admirer, Dinosaur Dave. Thank you. By the way, I hope work is going well. It's good to see ya, Dinosaur Dave. I'll go back. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Velociraptor, this is grievously out of date. Like, this is a solid... probably 25 years. So we've known basically since about 1998, I think, that Dromaeosaurids, the group that Velociraptor belongs to, these animals had feathers all over their bodies. We've known this since 1998 or so.
And it's therefore likely we're here today because, by the luck of the draw, dinosaurs who had been dominant over mammals in ordinary times got felled in a mass extinction.
It's true, Jedi Mega Man. Thank you for keeping those dinosaur streams going for the past 11 months. Appreciate you, Jedi Mega Man. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, welcome back. So since the discovery of this dinosaur, again, Wikipedia, it was named 1999. Sorry, I take it back. Mark Melbourne, thank you. Thank you very, very much for that gift sub. Now, Off-World Objects, 12 months. Off-World Objects, thank you for the 12 months of support. I really appreciate that.
Mark Melbourne gifted a tier
Mark
1
Melbourne,
sub
thank
to
you for
the
that
other.
gift sub. And thank you, Tila Aurora, for the gift sub.
Blaming the dinosaurs.
And thank you, Hogan, for the 100 bits. Good stuff, Hogan. Thank you very, very much. Holy cow. Look, we're now more than halfway to our goal. We're 11/20ths of the way to our goal right now.
Try blaming the dinosaurs.
Thank you, Flame Dreamer Art. Appreciate those 100 bits. Look at that hype train chug along. This is good stuff. Thank you, thank you. Let's keep that train rolling. Agreed, Tila. Yeah. Holy cow. Excellent. Yeah. Scooting along, Claire Burr, scooting along. Anyway, my point with this was that Encyclopedia Britannica is often grievously out of date. Wikipedia is beautiful because it's constantly updated, and their dinosaurs are not literally a quarter century behind the times. This is a quarter century out of date right here, people. That's,
If you're feeling a bit cheated, try blaming the dinosaurs.
Oh boy.
Hype rage, hype cheer.
And thank you, Ken, for those 100 bits. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Ken. Good stuff. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. And wait, Dinosaur Dave says, but the image is copyrighted 2010. Oh boy. So it's updated to be out of date. You're right. Copyright 2010. That's downright embarrassing. Shoot. Oh boy. I think it was 2004 that the Velociraptor feathers were published on. We actually have evidence of feathers on Velociraptor itself. See if I can find that paper. There we go. Feather quill knobs and the dinosaur Velociraptor. Oh, 2007. So yeah, we've known since 2007, not just that this family of dinosaurs had feathers, that Velociraptor specifically had feathers. We've known this since 2007. And 3 years later, Encyclopedia Britannica is like, you know, we're good with this, you know? Downright embarrassing. Wikipedia is a zillion times better than Encyclopedia Britannica when it comes to dinosaurs. Dinosaur science just moves too fast for, you know, something like Encyclopedia Britannica. Sorry, it just does, you know? It reminds me of, yeah. It reminds me of this.
The moon. For several years, she has fascinated many. But will man ever walk on her fertile surface? Democratic hopeful Adlai Stevenson says so. I have no objection.
If you're feeling a bit cheated, try blaming the dinosaurs.
Golganek.
Double exclamation mark. Family stream feed double exclamation mark.
There you go, Golganek. Yes, indeed. Thank you for those 100 bits. Appreciate you. Encyclopedia Britannica is just about as out of date as this, you know?
By 1964, experts say man will have established 12 colonies on the moon, ideal for family vacations. Once there, you'll weigh only a small percentage of what you weigh on Earth. Slow down, Tubby. You're not on the moon yet. The moon belongs to America, and anxiously awaits the arrival of our Astromen. Will
Astromen.
be among them.
Miss Hoover, the movie's over. Where's Miss Hoover?
Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Velociraptor. It looks like this with scaly skin. Like, no, it doesn't, Encyclopedia Britannica. No, it doesn't. Holy cow. So anyway, yeah. And Amelia Bedelia says in Jurassic Park, weren't they Velociraptor? And they didn't. Did they have feathers? They should have had feathers, Amelia Bedelia. That's the thing, is that we knew. We knew back then that they had feathers. And, here, take a look.
When Jurassic Park first came out in 1993, it was a pretty groundbreaking depiction of dinosaurs.
It was really good back then.
Steven Spielberg certainly took plenty of artistic liberties. But overall, the movie was so much better than what had come before, in terms of recreating what scientists knew about how dinosaurs looked and how they moved.
Yeah.
The character Alan Grant was actually a bit ahead of his time.
Look at the half-moon-shaped bones on the wrist. That's no wonder these guys learn how to fly. No, seriously.
Back then, the claim that birds evolved from dinosaurs was still controversial. Now it's widely accepted. But in the late 1990s, the science started speeding ahead, and the movies just didn't keep up. Even the latest installment, Jurassic World, shot in ultra-high-definition 3D, it features dinosaurs that are out of date.
Yeah, like 20 years out of date. Yeah.
3 years after the first Jurassic Park movie was released, scientists in China uncovered a feathered dinosaur for the first time, Sinosauropteryx.
Yep.
It takes very specific conditions for the Earth to record soft tissues like these primitive feathers. The animals had to be buried quickly before decomposing, and in fine-grained sediment. It turned out that this part of China...
That was a therizinosaur, by the way. Bapiaosaurus.
Around 120 million years ago, which provided these very conditions. And more than 30 feathered dinosaur species have been unearthed there and in some other places since 1996.
Yeah.
These fuzzy dinosaurs were mostly two-legged meat eaters, part of a group that's closely related to birds in the dinosaur family tree.
Melanocyte preservation? No, not in this one, Flame Dreamer Art, no.
Jurassic Park movies.
Gallimimus.
These guys probably had feathers of some sort for insulation or decoration, and that includes the raptors. Jurassic Park 3 sort of nodded to the new research by giving them a little bit of a hairdo, but their feathers probably looked more like this. A velociraptor
That's not too shabby.
From the Gobi Desert revealed
There we go. This is that paper I was just showing you, 2007.
wing attachments on modern
Yeah.
That means the raptors had wings.
That's a terrible depiction right there, though.
T-Rex? There's no direct evidence.
So I actually have a plastic velociraptor right here that's not too shabby, that gives you a good idea of what the animal might look like in life, fully feathered like this. Yeah. Pretty neat, you know? Yeah, so that's a much better depiction than whatever this was. Ugh. Ugh.
But a few years ago, scientists found a 30-foot dinosaur with some feathers, the biggest yet so far. Eutyrannus is thought to be closely related to T-Rex, so it's possible that the most famous and feared dinosaur might have been sort of fluffy. It's not clear how universal feathers were among dinosaurs, but while most of the specimens are theropods, there have been a few interesting findings from way over on the other side of the family tree.
Like Coolindodromeus.
These two have bristles of some sort, which may...
I don't necessarily buy that Psittacosaurus like this actually has bristles. We'll be talking about Psittacosaurus more in a bit, by the way. Hint, hint. But, I don't know. Jim Kirkland has me convinced that, like, this is probably not part of this animal. They have, like, 100 specimens of this animal preserved with skin in China. One of them has bristly things on it. Jim thinks it's a plant. It's not actually part of the dinosaur.
May or may not be related to bird feathers. And this one, found last year, has even more complex feather-like filaments. These fossils may indicate that feather precursors date back to some of the dinosaurs' earliest common ancestors. Jurassic World could have introduced feathered dinosaurs to a huge audience this year.
Yeah, and it should have. Oh, that's so frustrating. Like, the director completely dropped the ball on this, did not take his job seriously. From the perspective of a paleontologist, you know, this is extremely disappointing because films like Jurassic Park, well, the first 3 Jurassic Park films at least kind of took their job seriously as being, at least to a certain extent, they recognized the responsibility that they had for informing the public what dinosaurs should be like, you know? In 1993, like they said at the beginning of the video here, yeah.
The character Alan Grant was actually a bit ahead of his time.
Look at the half-moon-shaped bones on the wrist. That's no wonder these guys learn how to fly.
So this is an idea that the general public did not know about yet. This is a film being ahead of its time in terms of the science. And being like, hey, this is an idea that's floating around in dinosaur paleontology. Jack Horner was an advocate for this idea. And it really did introduce this idea to a wide audience like that. In one fell swoop, Jurassic World in 2015 could have brought the public up to date on dinosaurs, on dinosaur paleobiology. You know, at least in, like, giving the dromaeosaurs feathers. And it could have been, oh my goodness, it could have been so cool. They really, really dropped the ball on this. It's embarrassing. This is what we could have had in Jurassic World. You know? And just, bow, right there, instantly. The idea of feathered dromaeosaurs, well known to the general public. The thing is, this is what these animals actually looked like. But they decided, no, we're gonna do like kind of a half-effort fan film, kind of cash grab, garbage nonsense. And that's what they did, and that's why the Jurassic World film has had, I mean, it hasn't had nearly the cultural impact of the first Jurassic Park. Or I would argue even the second Jurassic Park film. Jurassic World kind of went over like a wet fart, you know, in the popular imagination. Sure, it made a lot of money, but it's just more of the same, you know? We know these animals had feathers. Having a dromaeosaur, like Velociraptor, on screen without feathers is like putting an elephant in your movie and going like, oh, well, the trunk looks weird, so we're just not going to put that on there. We're going to have an elephant walking around on screen without a trunk, you know? Like, you can't do that. That's part of the... That's what makes it what it is. Feathers are what make these animals what they are. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah. Still scary. Yes, absolutely, Ghostly Ghoul. Yeah. And Blue could have had blue feathers, which is really believable. There you go, Airspace. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah, as with sequels, they fail. As usual with sequels, they fail to understand what made the original a hit. There you go, Charlie's Dragon. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a reboot / sequel. Like, I don't know. I was deeply disappointed by Jurassic World. It could have made my job so much easier as a scientist, as a science communicator. You know? I wouldn't have people coming into chat and going, oh, did dinosaurs really have feathers? The Jurassic World franchise, Universal Studios had this enormous bully pulpit that they could use, you know, for showing people cool fossil science. And it would have been a lot cooler than what they went with. But they didn't do that, you know? They had a real opportunity for making the world a better place, and you know, it's a little way like that, introducing people to dinosaurs again, in the same way that the first Jurassic Park film did. when the first Jurassic Park film came out, people who went to see it felt like they were seeing dinosaurs for the first time, you know? It was a revelation to people. That's not what they did in Jurassic World. They could have done that. They could have recaptured that magic, but they didn't even try. It was lazy. It was unimaginative. It was just a slapdash cash grab. And that's deeply disappointing. So yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. And Lugnudo says, if you know VFX, you could render your own feathers on top of the raptors. It's been done, Lugnudo. It's been done. Yeah.
Now let's see it with an active watcher.
Here we go. Yeah. This is with Utah Raptor standing in for Deinonychus, but yeah. Check that out. Holy cow. Very cool. Truly scary. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. You get the idea. And that's just one guy doing that. So you can't say, oh, well, you know, all of the visual effects artists at Universal, they were just, you know, too bad at their jobs in order to pull this off. No, they definitely could have done that. You know, and should have, but this is... people in charge were the ones who were to blame for this, not the artists themselves, so I'm sure very talented, hardworking, dedicated to their craft. It's a lack of creative vision from the top. Honestly, from the producers and the director. So yeah. Yeah. Blame Dreamer Art says, thank you for not blaming the art. Yeah, it's not their fault. They're not the ones making decisions about this. Like, at this grand scale, it's the, you know, it's the suits at the top. You know, those corporate muckety-mucks. Anyway. Yeah. Dinosaur Dave says, one of my favorite streams was after we forced you to watch Jurassic World Dominion. Really? When I was in the hotel in Pocatello, Idaho, Dinosaur Dave? Oh, boy. One of these days, we'll get that up on YouTube. I need to honestly ship the portable hard drive that have all these VODs on it to my my YouTube manager, YouTube editor. It's Claire. Claire's in charge of that. Thank you, Claire. I need to send that to Claire. Oh, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Thank you for your service, Claire. Shall we move on to well, shoot, let's talk about what's on the 3D printer first. So we mentioned Psittacosaurus earlier. We are now printing the left side of the skull of Psittacosaurus logiaoensis. I'm sure I mispronounced that. My apologies. But I started printing the right side last night. Let me show you that. Yeah. And here it is right here. Yes. This is the skull of Psittacosaurus right here. Yeah. This is the right side of the skull. So there's the eye socket right there. It's still got all these supports underneath. I'm going to have to clear those away. But this is printed life-size. There's that big jugal spike right there. There is the beak in front. Yeah, good stuff. This is an interesting animal. Lugia tunensis is the species name. Psittacosaurus Lugia tunensis. This is the same one for whom we have color data on. They have all these stupid bristles on them. Ugh. Anyway. Very cool. No, Rush couldn't resist this joke. It's Dinosaur Dave. I will be assembling that. Just you wait. I'll have to do it on a day where you can watch the whole time, but yeah. Anyway, Psittacosaurus. This is an important little dinosaur, at least in the sense that there's a lot of specimens of it. And, well, there we go. That's a lovely render of its head right there. Psittacosaurus Lugia tunensis. There we go. Here it is with very big, pronounced jugal spikes like this. Let's see a little more subdued one. There we go. This one's still got the bristles, though. Ugh. Anyway, very cool. This is from the game Prehistoric Kingdom. That's why there's grass here. Grasses did not exist at the same time as these dinosaurs. These dinosaurs lived about 40 or 50 million years before the first grasses evolved. But this is supposed to be set in the modern day. That's why you've got palms and these deciduous trees and grasses like that. But yeah, Psittacosaurus. Beautiful little dinosaur. And we... Wrong button. We're gonna have one of our very own. I can show this off tomorrow. Because, maybe tonight or maybe tomorrow morning, it'll be done printing. And I can clear away these supports and show you. By the way, thank you everybody who has contributed 3D printer filament from the Amazon wishlist so that I can do these, so that I can print these objects like this. Couldn't do this without you. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, this is pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome that I could do this. I've got, holy cow, have I got big plans for more 3D printing. This, actually, is, once it loads, this is one of our upcoming projects here. Come on now. But this is the skull of a Spinosaurid dinosaur, Irritator. I have the files for this, including those little divots that the magnets go into. So these are magnets right here that are holding the skull together. And so here you'll see the skull assembled before your very eyes. This is the model that I intend to put together. So I still need to get a little bit more filament in order to be able to do this. If you'd like to contribute to that project, there's the wish list there in the chat. So excited for the prospect of making this. It's going to be such a wonderful tool for science outreach and communication. Imagine taking this into a classroom full of kids and being like, hey, here's a dinosaur skull, and then have the human skull one that I can take apart. Like, this is the same bone in a human skull. This is the same bone in this Spinosaur skull. And when we put them together. How cool is that? Yeah, homology. There you go. Exactly, Claire Burr. Yeah. Good stuff. Comparative anatomy does rock, Flame Dreamer art, indeed. So I'm really excited for this. I can't wait to start on this project. It'll probably be something we do in, like, maybe October. We'll be working on this. I don't know. We'll see. I gotta schedule these things out. but very excited. Yeah. But yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Anyway, Psittacosaurus, I'll show this to you tomorrow once it's done, so tune in then. Yeah, but for right now, today happens to be an interesting anniversary. For it was on this very day, in the year 1940, that the famous cave paintings at Lascaux in France were discovered. September 12th, 1940. What's that, 83 years ago today? Yeah. Even if you don't think you're familiar with these cave paintings, you almost certainly are. And if you don't recognize the name Lascaux, maybe you'll recognize these images right here. These, I believe, are still considered some of the earliest examples of human art. Painted on cave walls by early humans. It was not too long before this that humans first left Africa, where we had first evolved, and then spread out across the world. So let's talk about Lascaux a little bit. Here, let's take a look at this right here. There we go.
And other large mammals once roamed alongside people across Eurasia. Tens of thousands of years later, we may have a glimpse into this Ice Age world through the cave art left behind by early humans.
Very cool. You have a minor in art history? Very cool. Invisible Dimensions?
Around
Nice.
400 art.
Talk about art history. Art prehistory. Holy cow. Yes!
Filled caves and shelters, predominantly
an armored giant, wreaking his prehistoric fury on modern man and his puny machines.
Brunaus, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Yeah. And are we learning about mammoths on the stream? We can if you want to, Draconic Raptor. We can.
Located in France and Spain have been discovered so far. Some of the most elaborate prehistoric artwork exists in caves in France, known as Lascaux Grotto and Chauvet Pont d'Arc. Cave art dates as far back as 65,000 years ago to the time of the Neanderthals. Though, radiocarbon dating and other methods have revealed most art to be less than 40,000 years old and created by Homo sapiens.
That's us, Homo sapiens.
The majority of cave art depicts animals that humans would have encountered or hunted during the Ice Age, such as mammoths, horses,
These are
lions,
beautiful.
aurochs, and deer. Some human figures and other symbols have also been discovered. Cave paintings were mostly created with red or black pigments made from rocks. Some artworks were painted directly onto cave walls, while some were first engraved into the stone with tools.
Interesting.
Occasionally, the artists would follow the natural contours of the stone walls to accentuate an animal's features. Ever since the late 1800s, people have debated the meaning and purpose of cave art. Some scholars think cave paintings were created by shamans who would go deep into caves and enter a trance-like state, drawing animals they encountered in the spirit world.
Or maybe it's just, you know...
Rampaging in an unsuspecting world.
Maybe it's a raid.
From the dawn of time.
From Octavius King.
What lives will they destroy? What depths of panic and terror will they create?
Octavius King, thank you for the raid.
Octavius_King and their 54 raiders have arrived to wreak some sweet havoc.
I really appreciate that, Octavius. Welcome back to Paleontologizing. How are you doing? It's great to have you here. Holy moly. How are you and the rats and the rabbits doing? If any of you in chat already are not yet following Octavius King, you're missing out. If you happen to like mammals, and you know me, some of my best friends are mammals, go follow Octavius King to see all kinds of mischief enacted by rats and rabbits and Octavius themselves. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate that. And if anybody's new here for the first time, welcome. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. And,
In at number 8, we have the Tradoon. Tradoon.
Deepest Blue Dragon. 15 months of support. Deepest Blue Dragon. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Here, we were just talking about the cave paintings at Lascaux in France. Very cool stuff. But, yeah, I just realized I didn't put my Allosaurus back here. Let me go grab that real quick. Let me grab that. Here, hang on just a minute here. There we go. Yeah. This is my Allosaurus skull that I 3D printed. Well, it took months to 3D print this, and now it is complete. And I forgot to put it back here. I had to work on some stuff in my office earlier, and yeah. Anyway, let's get those lights on. Oh, the battery must be dead on that one. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Draconic Raptor says that skull is beautiful, a piece of art. That's a piece of nature right there from this animal, Allosaurus. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. So anyway, Octavius, yeah, what do you think? Allosaurus. Yeah. This is life-size. An adult Allosaurus skull. They get maybe a little bit bigger than this, but this is actually a pretty large one. I've worked with other Allosaurus skulls like Big Al at Museum of the Rockies, who is smaller than this. Yeah, it's a sizable skull, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to be painting it before too long. There we go. But for right now, this is what it looks like. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. 3D print the rest of the body. I don't have the files for that Listorian, or I'd think about it. But my office is not that big. I barely have room for this, you know? And the rest of my 3D prints. I've got some baby dinosaurs here. Baby Triceratops, baby Tyrannosaurus. I do not have room for a full-grown Allosaurus. Holy cow. And even though I might be moving soon, I will still not have room for that. Yeah. But yeah. Ghost Mooner says, why are replica bones shown as brown and not white? It depends on what kind of material you use, Ghost Mooner. In some cases, they are shown as white. Like a dinosaur that I helped dig up back in 2011. Yeah. Here is me, circa 2013. maybe 2014, with a Triceratops skull. This is the Yoshi's Trike site specimen. And the bones that are, the replica parts are in white. These are the parts that are filled in. There we go. This is what the full skeleton looks like after mounting. The parts that are filled in are in white. The parts that are genuine casts, or they're casts of the genuine bones, are in brown. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. And I've not gone to the P.O. Box yet this week, Nell. I should Thursday morning, I think. If I have time. We'll see. It'll be soon, Nell. It'll be soon. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. And Will Rounded, could we print these? You absolutely can. For most of them, anyway. Yeah. These are available from various websites across the internet. One of these days, when I make a website for myself, I'll maybe have a nice little list there of different places where you can get some of these models. Yeah. And you should have more filament. Blue, says Golganek. You mean you just purchased more filament, Golganek? Or do you mean it would be nice if I had more filament? What do you mean? Ah, yeah. Anyway. We were just talking about the cave paintings at Lascaux in France and why they're important. Here, let's maybe go back to the beginning of this and start it over, because this stuff is super recent. I work on dinosaurs. Dinosaurs died out, except for birds, 66 million years ago. These cave paintings are so recent that they were done by people, by human beings, just a few thousand years ago. This is like last Thursday, geologically speaking. This is incredibly recent when we're talking about geologic time. And so as a result, I don't know a lot about this. I haven't read a lot about this. So, but it was on this day, September 12th, 1940, that some kids in France stumbled across these caves and found the paintings inside.
Mammoths, steppe bison, and
Yeah.
other mammals once roamed alongside people.
Two from the
across
coelacanth.
Eurasia.
Oh, gotcha, Golganek. Okay. Yeah.
Tens of thousands of years later, we may have a glimpse into this Ice Age world through the cave art left behind by early humans.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Around 400 art-filled caves and shelters, predominantly located in France and Spain, have been discovered so far. Some of the most elaborate prehistoric artwork exists in caves in France, known as Lascaux Grotto and Chauvet Pont d'Arc. Cave art dates as far back as 65,000 years ago
Cool,
to the time of the
Thagomeismer. I don't have those
Neanderthals.
books, but check 'em
Though,
out.
radiocarbon dating and other methods have revealed most art to be less than 40,000 years old and created by Homo sapiens. The majority of cave art depicts animals that humans would have encountered or hunted during the Ice Age, such as mammoths, horses, lions, aurochs, and deer. Some human figures and other symbols have also been discovered.
Wait, when they say deer, do they mean megalosaurus? Yeah, deer. Calling megalosaurus a deer. It's, strictly speaking, this is true. But, it really doesn't do it justice. Megalosaurus. Holy cow. The dearest of deer. It's sometimes called the Irish elk. Megalosaurus was a truly astonishing animal. The males had these redonkulous antlers like this. Just absolutely crazy. So yeah, deer. Oh man. You wouldn't want this running across the road when you're driving your Mitsubishi. You You'd just be pink mist if you hit this critter. Oh, deer. Oh, boy. Yeah. Just drive under it, says Trek Nerd. Yeah, there you go. Ah, yeah. Deer. It's a cervid. It's part of Cervidae. Moose are also technically deer. They're part of that group, Cervidae. But anyway. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Some human figures and other symbols have also been discovered. Cave paintings were mostly created with
Thank you,
red or
Golganak.
black
I'm
pigments made
looking
from
forward to
rocks.
printing those, yeah.
Some artworks were painted directly onto cave walls, while some were first engraved into the stone with tools. Occasionally, the artists would follow the natural contours of the stone walls to accentuate an animal's features. Ever since the late 1800s, people have debated the meaning and purpose of cave art. Some scholars think cave paintings were created by shamans who would go deep into caves and enter a trance-like state, drawing animals they encountered in the spirit world.
Okay.
Symbols
I kind of doubt that.
across artworks may indicate that those symbols had agreed upon meanings among the artists. Thus, perhaps cave art also represents the earliest form of graphic communication.
Wow. Any graphic designers in the chat here? You might be witnessing, looking at the very beginnings of your craft here. There you go. I worked as a graphic designer for a while in a print shop. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff,
In reality, cave art may have been created for a variety of reasons. While we may never know with absolute certainty why cave art was made or the meaning behind individual paintings, these works give us insight into the evolving minds of our prehistoric ancestors and the world in which they lived.
We know what they were into. They liked animals.
Cave artists were prehistoric naturalists. Their detailed drawings may teach us about the appearance and behavior of animals
Super
that have
cool.
long been extinct.
Yeah, the Pleistocene
But perhaps more
megafauna.
significant, a part of our never-ending quest to find out who we are and where we came from, cave art may provide evidence of a time when humans were first able to etch their thoughts in stone.
Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Here's a link to that video right there, if you'd like to watch it on your own. And Trek Nurse says, why do we draw stuff now? Probably same reasons, because it's fun. Yeah. It's a way to express yourself, Yeah. Good stuff. So, again, I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I don't know a lot about this kind of thing. But let's take a look at this right here. Oh, shoot. This is interactive. Oh, that's so cool. Wow. Seen above is a reproduction of the prehistoric Lascaux cave paintings, circa 15,000 BC. Very cool.
This cave has been painted during the last part of the Upper Paleolithic, around 20,000 years ago.
Very, very cool. I feel like we should return to this in a minute, actually. Let's take a look at this really old documentary about this. 1952. This is only 12 years after this was first discovered. Let's take a look at this. Some real nostalgia here. How many people in chat remember 1952? I remember it like I wasn't born yet. Yeah. Except for Danny to diversify. There you go, Ken, yeah. Man, listen to that sound quality. Ooh. It's like butter. About 50,000 years ago, men called Cro-Magnon appeared in Europe. They were much like us and seem to have had been the first artists. One September afternoon in 1940, it was on this very day, in fact, that's why we're streaming this now, two boys, Marcel and Ravidat, were walking along a wooded ridge above the Vézère River in southwest France. Their dog chased a rabbit into a hole. This may or may not be true. Apparently a tree got uprooted. That's how they actually found it. Digging at this hole led them into a cave where they discovered the most remarkable Cro-Magnon paintings yet found. Well, well, well. You know, people read slower back then. Oh. France.
The valley of the Vézère River is a tranquil, remote corner of France, not much disturbed by modern times. But to scientists who care about ancient man, it has been, for the past century, one of the most important places on Earth. For here have been found remarkable evidences of prehistoric man's existence.
Remarkable evidences.
A comparatively new study.
I love some of these quaint old phrases, and I need to maybe use them, you know, more often. Here lie remarkable evidences of the ancient past.
Prehistory first came into prominence.
Remarkable evidences.
Along the ridges, man once hunted the wild animals which were the chief source of his food and clothing. The horse, deer, and cattle and other creatures long extinct.
And also the chief source of his bones. I mean, nowadays, we use other sources to acquire our bones. Sources like, you know, the 3D printer. But back then, you couldn't 3D print bones of ancient animals. You had to go out and, well, I guess you could dig them up. But there were a lot of, I guess they weren't ancient animals back then. They were present-day animals, but they were running around. You know, if I want to acquire a mammoth tooth nowadays, the easiest way for me to get it is to 3D print it. You know, a replica of one. Back then, you know, you could go pull it out of the mouth of a mammoth, which is what some of these people did.
The Vézère River itself was important, for it had in glacial times, with its cutting action, created the cliffs and rock shelters wherein men found their dwelling places.
And women.
Under the rock shelters, man has been living for no one knows how many
man and woman.
Thousands of years. And he left his records behind in many places. His bones, the bones of the animals which lived in the countryside with him, off which he fed and clothed himself and his family.
And herself.
With the stone and bone
50s were a different time, man.
Kept house. In the Vézère Valley today, modern men build
no, clever. No girls allowed. This is the 1950s. There's no girls allowed here. Yeah.
Used as dwellings by ancient man.
And Milicia Total says, I live near one of these caves. Very, very cool. Que chivo. That's awesome. Holy moly. Milicia, that's really, really cool. Consider yourself lucky. That is pretty neat. Yeah. In Spain. España. Claro que sí.
At Les in the cliffs where the first Cro-Magnon skeletons were found about 100 years ago.
Basque Country, very cool.
Modern houses are built. And in medieval times, men cut holes in the soft limestone walls in which to live. At nearby Limousin, ancient men deposited the records of their many tenancies, piled as neatly as in filing cabinets. And when archaeologists excavated here, they could easily identify the successive layers of man-chipped stones.
All right.
The bones of animals.
This is a paleontology broadcast.
That men of different epochs had left behind.
Let's talk about the paintings of different Pleistocene critters.
The chart tells the names which have been given to the different periods.
3D, bury the 3D prints. They'd get destroyed by the elements, harass. A Chilean, wow, really? Seems strange for France.
Children of the valley roam among the ancient sites, reclaiming the old crude tools that men, long since disappeared to no one knows.
Poaching these sites.
Left behind.
Where are their parents? This music is on its last legs.
And Ravadar stumbled into the cave.
There we go.
Was an important day in the history of man and his art.
It was on this very day, September 12th, 1940.
For the paintings they found had been neatly sealed from human sight for thousands of years. The boys had come in through a hole in the roof of the cave, caused by erosion of the hilltop, and though they searched for many days, they never located the original entrance, probably blocked off by some rock fall ages ago.
Interesting. It's a large child.
They found walls covered with countless undecipherable lines.
Children of the Valley sounds like a horror movie title. It does, that for Poet, yeah. Don't touch it. Get your finger grease all over it. Well, it was the 50s, you know?
And on a ceiling, the vague forms of horses.
Very vague. I don't see a horse.
And the antlers of a vanished deer.
Megalosaurus, right? Is that what that is?
Paintings as fresh as though done yesterday.
There you go. Beautiful. No joke, beautiful.
They saw where a natural formation of the cave wall had suggested the painting of a bull. And here were 3 small deer. With a curious eye-like sign, possibly the magical eye of the hunter, ensuring success in the hunt.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Nearby, they found this same symbol with other animals.
You know, sometimes I kind of wonder whether it was, you know, we wonder about, like, oh, the symbol of the eye, how significant was this? And it reminds me of something that, when I was a kid, I don't know if this is still something that happens, but when I was a kid, my compatriots, comrades, contemporaries would draw this symbol all over their books. You know, we'd have those book covers that are made out of paper, brown paper bags and stuff. And you know, those contemporaries of mine would draw this same symbol like this. Just because it looked cool, you know? Yeah, the S. There you go, Lenina, Charlie's Dragon, Megan M. The cool S, says Steely Dan. Yeah. I wonder if the I was just... Maybe it was something kind of like that. Maybe this is one of those universal human impulses that just echoes throughout the millennia. It'd be really, really... It'd be hilarious if they found the cool S in the Lascaux painting. But yeah, this is probably like an 80s or 90s thing, I imagine. That's universal, says Melissa Total. Really? En España también? And Thagomismer says people still draw to that in schools now, according to my BFF's sister. Well, there you go. Some things are just kind of universal across humanity. It's like a cultural meme that spreads throughout populations, and yeah. And we did it in the early 2010s, says Megan M. There you go. Lascaux. go. Desmonus, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. And Thalos says, I didn't have this, but I'm apparently an old-timey person. Okay. I'm guessing this originated in, like, the late 1990s or the early 2000s, maybe. Probably late 1990s. Yeah, let's go, Desmonus. That's brilliant. Yeah. Anyway, maybe that's what those eye symbols might be.
Eye of the hunter. Ensuring success. Possibly the magical eye of the hunter.
What could the S symbolize? Was it a religious symbol for these children of the early 2000s? I don't know. Sometimes stuff just looks cool and it's fun to make. And I legitimately, you know, not trying to be snarky here, I legitimately wonder whether some of this stuff was just fun to paint on the walls. And so these are motifs that were repeated. I don't know.
Ensuring success in the hunt. Nearby, they found this same symbol with other animals.
This also kind of reminds me, while we're in this same milieu right here, while we're talking about this same thing, I remember at one time we were, this would have been 2013 maybe? Let's see if I can find the photos. I was up in Livingston, Montana. I was helping Kerry Woodruff set up camp at the sauropod quarry up there in Livingston. And I don't think I have photos of this shoot. But we built an outhouse out of... Okay, yeah, here's the Livingston camp. The outhouse would be that way. But I showed up at the very beginning of the summer. This was on 4th of July. There's Bob Harmon's truck right there. B-Rex. See that? Yeah. There's Bob Harmon's truck. Anyway, I was helping Kerry Woodruff set up camp at the beginning of the summer before I left for the field to go dig up dinosaurs. This is in Livingston, Montana, 2013. And Kerry wanted to have an outhouse built for his crew, because they were going to have some donors there. I think Kathleen Kennedy from Lucasfilm or Universal Pictures or whoever that is, she was there. She was going to be visiting. Anyway, they wanted an outhouse so that people wouldn't have to go do their poop, you know, behind a bush. And so Kerry went and got some scrap wood from the university. I dug a great big hole. It was like 6 feet deep or something like that, in order to have plenty of room for people to make deposits there, you know? It took a good part of the day. But the scrap wood that Kerry Woodruff got was from campus. And it was the remnants of old bed lofts. Yeah. You know, a bed loft like this. When you're in a dorm room and you want to be able to have your bed above the ground so that you can put stuff underneath it, saves space in your dormitory room. At the end of the school year, there's a ton of these that are just discarded. So there's all kinds of scrap wood that's there for the taking. Kerry Woodruff grabbed a bunch of these, and he was able to build an outhouse out of them. And it was really funny because these were bed lofts that had been in use for the past year. And so they had all kinds of inscriptions on them. And he was at one of the dorms that had kind of a reputation for kind of ditzy people living in those dorms. And he was like pulling stuff out of the dumpster. And so when we built the outhouse, it had all kinds of like inscriptions on the inside, written in Sharpie and carved into the sides and stuff. And it would be like Becky and Sally, like friends forever, and everything happens for a reason and stuff like that. And there were a bunch of those little cool S's and stuff drawn on them too. But it's just there in the outhouse when you're, you know, heeding nature's call. You could just look at all of this human art there, and it almost kind of reminds me of, sort of a reverent way, reminds me of the paintings at Lascaux. You know? Who were these people? What were their stories? Why would they leave such messages here? So yeah. Yeah. Ugg and Grok and Deer, friends forever. You know.
In many places they found other strange marks, like the one in front of this bull's head.
Great philosophy. There you go, Kennedy. Yeah. Yeah. The human need to create art. There you go.
And in other places, series of dots, like those under this stag's head.
Huh. That's interesting. I wonder if these are like tally marks, like, you know, on like a World War II fighter plane. Like, number of aerial victories. Here we come, Jerry! You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, I wonder.
14. Maybe the number of hunters.
Oh, okay.
And here a horse made mostly of dots. And a galloping horse with magic arrows through it. Another symbol of the wish for hunting success.
How do we know they're magic? Maybe they're just arrows. I don't know.
Chinese like
I don't know.
Pregnant as are all the female animals in the cave. A wish that the food supply continue.
Huh.
A strange, unknown creature.
Nell says, I have a sweater with that horse on it. Very cool, Nell. Very cool. And yeah, what is this supposed to be? Is it an unknown creature, or is it just that maybe this is a new artist, or I don't know. Could be a mythological creature too. Ibex? I don't know. Could be Spartan. That's a good question.
Dinosaurs were the sort of creatures you might think of as inhabiting another planet.
Holy cow, Air Boss.
The kind you dream of in a bad nightmare.
Wow.
Good gravy. This greater than less than close to 1 year.
Yeah, that's very close to 1 year. Holy cow, Air Boss. Thank you for supporting me for 33 months. Holy moly. Thanks for keeping me here on the air. It means a lot to me. It really does. Welcome back. Yeah. And Arod Trigg says, painting these by firelight must have made these images move and come to life. I would imagine so, yeah. Imagine how cool that would be. You know? Even just viewing them by firelight. You're walking in with a torch into this dark cave, and, you know, the light of that fire would just make these images dance.
A fine parade of ponies and a leaping cow, like the cow jumping over the moon.
Huh.
A grid-like sign, perhaps a tribal sign. More horses.
Mythic animals, dreams of the hunt made manifest. There you go, Bozo. Yeah, yeah. There's an ibex.
Over 500 animals were found in the cave. Here was a lavender horse.
More pleasant than Plato's cave. Yeah, this one's got so many more animals in it, Steely Dan. That's always a good thing. Yeah.
A plant or the symbol of a hand in front of him. A horse.
This drawer contains almost all of the North American identified specimens of Troodon.
Of Troodon. Thank you, Ash Rubber, for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Good to have you here.
Falls upside down into a crevice.
Uh-oh.
Does this denote danger?
Poor horse.
2 bison. One losing his winter coat.
And holy cow, Gold Amur Leopard says, I did a dig in 2010, and I met and worked with Bob Harmon. I love doing some paleontology. I missed you by 1 year, Gold Amur Leopard. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Holy cow. I miss Bob a lot. I can't believe he's gone. Oh, you're in an ad. Oh, shoot. Wait until the ad ends.
Goldenek gifted a tier 1.
Thank you, Golganek, for gifting Gold Amur Leopard.
343 gift subs in the channel.
Well, let's see if that ends the ad for Gold Amur Leopard. Welcome to Paleontologizing. And welcome, Yanis Era. Thank you for the follow. It's good to have you here. Yeah. Holy cow. Yeah. Still stuck in an ad. Well, shoot. I guess if you get gifted an ad, or you get gifted a sub while you're in an ad, it doesn't eliminate the ad in the meantime. I guess the ad has to continue. Yeah, but they are done now. Good. They may need to refresh. Oh, Golganek, that's a good point. We're done? Gold Amur Leopard, it's wonderful to have you here. 2010, were you there? Were you digging up the skull of Yoshi's Trike, perhaps, in the Hell Creek in 2010? I was on the crew starting in 2011. And I worked with Museum of the Rockies and Bob Harmon until 2014 or 2015 would have been my last year there. Yeah, that's super cool. Bob Harmon, incredible guy. Yeah. It's so cool that you remember him too, Gold Amur Leopard. You know, Here, we're taking a brief detour here. But, let's talk about Bob Harmon for a minute here. Here we go. This is from a 60 Minutes piece. This kind of gives you a good sense for who Bob Harmon was. Now, here's Bob Harmon right here. And I've said this many, many times. Gold Amur Leopard, and Yoshi's Trike, yeah. You remember that trike? That's the year that the skull was dug up in 2010. I worked on the post-crania the next year. Gold Amur Leopard, that's very, very cool. Anyway, there's the man himself, Bob Harmon. If I had to describe him, have any of you seen the movie... I've said this before. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Do you remember Brad Pitt's character from that movie? If you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. that basically was Bob Harmon. Like, I remember seeing that movie and going, hang on, I feel like I know this person. Like, they just seem so familiar, and holy cow, same demeanor, same personality. It was Bob Harmon, you know? Yeah. Gold Amber Leopard says, I did a month of digging in Hell Creek near Jordan. Yeah. Bob Harmon taught me how to drive an ATV, and I got to work on the trike and Hadrosaurus, T-Rex, and after. Very cool, Gold Amber Leopard. Very, very cool. Well, from one Museum of the Rockies alumnus to another, welcome to Paleontologizing. It's great to have you here. Holy cow. Yeah, this is Bob Harmon here. And this kind of illustrates why Bob was, you know, a legend. It's on the side of a cliff. Yeah, that's Bob Harmon. So anyway, but so I don't know if you know Gold Amber Leopard, but Bob Harmon passed away this past November. And yeah, I can't believe he's gone. But I want to share a little story with you about Bob. In 2013, I was showing everybody some photos of the Livingston site. Prior to that, that was there's Bob's old truck, the Tyrannosaurus specimen that he discovered there on the side of that cliff. Jack Horner named it B-Rex in Bob's honor, and Bob was so proud of that. This is his truck with the camper on the back. And there's his MOR license plate, B-Rex, right there. And I don't know if you could see the Tyrannosaurus skeleton, but I got a similar license plate. And holy cow, anonymous gifter! Holy moly.
It's the last time I'll play with a dinosaur.
And on Triple W, there you go. Yes, look. We've made our sub goal for the day. Thank you very, very much. Holy cow. I owe everybody some ukulele songs that maybe we'll do right after this. But let me finish this story. Yeah, there's that license plate there. I got a similar license plate. Hang on. We'll have it. This was on my vehicle. But you can see the Museum of the Rockies Montana plate there. There's still like bug crud stuck on this. But yeah. Mine, for whatever reason, Fossil was not taken. Bob had B-Rex. And he had Brown the truck when I was there. Yeah, Gold Amber Leopard. Brown was there for the first couple years when I was there. Big Brown, the, Can we find a picture? No, probably not, unfortunately. But that was the truck that, in Jurassic Park 3... There we go. Yep, that's the truck. Brown. Right there. They made sure to get a truck that looked just like Big Brown. Looks like an old Ford F-350. It doesn't quite look like brown. Brown wasn't like a two-tone like that. But the cool thing about the big brown truck was that it had dual fuel tanks. So this is like the perfect long-range Montana truck. When you're driving for hundreds of miles across the state, you know, you need a lot of fuel. This truck had 2 fuel tanks on it. And it had a switch on the dashboard. So when one fuel tank is starting to run out of fuel, you just flip it over to the auxiliary fuel tank. It was so cool. Unfortunately, they got rid of it while I was there because too few people knew how to drive it. It was a manual transmission. And too few people today know how to drive a stick. It's... A standard transmission is one of those things that's just... It's a real shame. You know, most people don't know how to drive it. Big Brown was a legend, that truck. Anyway, this is Bob's favorite truck, and they got rid of it. So anyway. Yeah. And Brown, I think, appeared... Yeah, that's exactly what I was showing, Golden River Leopard. Yeah. This wasn't actually Big Brown here, but this is a... I think Joe Johnston, the director of this film, who used to come out and dig with us. Joe Johnston used to come out and dig with us sometimes. He wanted to have a truck that looked like Brown. Brown was browner than this. I don't know if I have any pictures of Brown. Here. It would have been in 2011 if... I don't think we have Brown. We've got Blue. Yeah. Here's Big Blue right here. When we were moving storage into... Oh, there's Brown right there in the background. Yeah, there's... I don't have a clear shot of it. But there's the Big Brown truck right there. Big Brown. Good to know that Brown was on site. There might be a better photo. Anyway, small world. It is great to have you here, Gold Emmer Leopard. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Holy cow. Fellow MOR alumnus. And, yeah, there's Big Red right there. Brian Baziak in the back of Big Red. I'm sure I've got a photo of Bob somewhere here. Probably standing with his hands on his hips, overseeing some of this stuff. Alright, here he is right here. Yeah. We had to move a ton of storage, like old fossil jackets and stuff like that, before we could go to the field again. But anyway. Yeah. What kind of truck was Big Brown? Brown was a Ford F-250, I want to say. F-250 or F-350. Was not an F-150. It was like a... I want to say a quarter-ton truck. No. Quarter-ton? Three-quarter ton. F-250 is a three-quarter-ton truck, right? Let's look this up. F-250 is... three-quarter ton? Yeah, what is a three-quarter ton truck? Models reference number 250 or 2500. F2, yeah, I'm pretty sure Big Brown was a three-quarter ton. Yeah. Thank you, Hogan. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. So it would have been like, Ford F-250. I'm gonna guess 1995? Brown. Yeah, it looked a lot like this. Maybe older, actually. But it was like... It was solid brown, not like these two-ton ones. Let's try 1997, maybe? Well, let's try 1993. looked kind of like this. Yeah. But had the dual cab. King cab. Whatever they call it. I don't know. Ford, Chevy, Dodge. I used to sell cars. I used to know these things. Completely forgotten. Not like it matters. Anyway, Bob Harmon. Yeah. He was a good truck indeed, Gold Emmer Leopard. Unfortunately, they got rid of Brown. They, like, sent it to the dump because somebody who was trying to drive it couldn't do it properly, and it's because they didn't know how to use the clutch and the gearing properly. Anyway, but neat little anecdote about Bob Harmon. When we went up to Livingston for the 4th of July in 2013, somebody told me a story about Bob, and I have photographic proof of this. So Bob, you know, naturally a very tough guy, you know? Almost kind of an old-fashioned cowboy in a sense. But he definitely had a tender side too. As will not surprise you, Gold Emmer Leopard. Where is his birdhouse? I've got photos of it somewhere around here. Should be right here. There we go. So, Bob had his truck parked there in the pinion junipers, and there were some bluebirds that were decided to try and build a nest there on his truck. And Bob went, "Oh no, you can't build a nest right there." What did he do? Did he remove the nesting material? Well, I guess he kind of did. But he decided he was going to go into town and build these birds a birdhouse. So that they would have a place to live. He got a big post, drove it into the ground, found some wood, cut it up, and there is a western bluebird using this. And who can tell me what this is right here? What he used for them to perch on at the end. What is that right there, chat? It's like a cabinet handle right there. Yeah. What a sweetheart, Bob Harmon. I really miss him. Good guy. Anyway, so those are some very, very happy birds. He took good care of them. Yeah. Anyway. Good stuff. Anyway, Gold Emmer Leopard, it's great to have you here. Welcome to Paleontologizing. I hope you stick around. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist trained at Museum of the Rockies. And nowadays on Twitch, I stream fossil science every weekday. You know, we do fossil Q&A. We do 3D printing, like this right here. Printing these fossil specimens, like these. And, yeah, and we talk about new discoveries in fossil science. We did a lot of that yesterday. But today, we're going back to an important date in the history of the study of prehistory. It was on this day, September 12th, 1940, that some boys in the French countryside discovered the cave paintings in Lascaux. So we're talking about that right now. Let's get back to it, shall we? Yeah.
They came upon a most remarkable horse. his body shaded to indicate a third dimension, his head turned and foreshortened, his ears shown in a natural way. This may be the first painting attempting modern perspective.
Huh. Very cool.
Paintings on top of paintings, done thousands of years apart.
Huh.
And on the walls, more symbols, crosses. And within the big black bull, a small red bull of an earlier period. An etched deer with an ear drawn in an interesting perspective.
Ooh.
Down on the side of the head, as Picasso might conceive it.
Very cool. You know, this actually brings to mind an idea. You know, sometimes people talk about ancient people as being stupid, unintelligent, dim-witted. And sure, people who lived before us don't necessarily know as much as we do about how the world works. Science had not become a real thing yet, you know? But these are people who were incredibly talented, incredibly clever. They're just basically modern people, but without all of this history before them. You know, we today are standing on the shoulders of giants. Human knowledge has accumulated to the point where people like me, people like you, can benefit from all of this knowledge that's accumulated since then. When I'm publishing on dinosaurs, there is, you know, about 200 years of history that I'm drawing upon there. Accumulated knowledge. So I guess think about that and celebrate how cool it is to be human. You know, that like we're kind of a neat species when you think about it. That we're able to think about the world in concrete terms. We're able to express ourselves through art. These are like fundamental human qualities. And although this might seem primitive, you know, these people didn't have, you know, drawing tablets with styluses. They didn't have Adobe Photoshop. They didn't have Adobe Illustrator. They didn't have any subscription-based art software. They had cave walls. And they had the most rudimentary of art supplies. And yet that very human impulse to create, to express oneself through art was still there. I really do think that is part of what makes us human. And as a paleontologist, I feel a certain kinship toward this because they're portraying some extinct animals here. But those animals weren't extinct at the time. But that curiosity about the natural world is still there. That passion for the other creatures that have called this planet home, that's still there. It's, I don't know. You can't help but feel a real kinship toward these artists and a real affinity toward this work. It's really amazing.
Enjoy science as much as you can, and you can't enjoy science alone. You have to share it.
It's true, Babzilla. Thank you for the 2 months of support with Prime there. Appreciate you, Babzilla. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. So yeah. And Thagomeismer says, I love that argument. The first sign of society is a healed broken leg. Always makes me emotional. Yeah, that somebody was taking care of that person who had that broken leg and it was able to heal. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue here.
A herd of deer seemed to be swimming. A remarkably subtle composition.
Huh. Very cool. It really is beautiful. It really is.
And nearby...
And Will 62, haven't genetic studies found that these painters' genetic heritage has disappeared from modern Europeans? I don't think we really have genetic material from these painters, Will 62. That's my guess. I find it difficult to see how we would have genetic material from the people who painted this, because maybe we would have some people from the same time in the same area, but I don't know. I'm really not sure. Again, I'm a dinosaur guy. I know very little about this, but I'm here to drink in the wonder with all of you. Like this beautiful graph. Surspic390, thank you for that follow, and thank you for bringing that graph. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And not a people person. I'm a dinosaur person, Kennedy. Spot on. Yeah. Yeah.
And nearby another startling composition of 4 heads on a ceiling.
Huh. Bean Counter-Strike. Nickelback. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Very early type, and a
What
bison
does that denote? I don't know, Bean
same
Counter-Strike.
period.
And thank you, Claire. I appreciate you. Bob Barker.
And each had 7 magic arrows through him.
How do we know they're magic? Like, can't they be normal arrows? There you go, Claire.
Horse
Okay.
with a long,
Fair.
fanciful head. A horse within a horse. Another wish for reproduction of food, perhaps. A black cow facing right covers the head of an earlier yellow horse facing left.
Huh. Horses are so last season. You know what's in now? Black cows. Yeah. Good stuff.
A black cow facing right covers the head of an earlier yellow horse facing left. The cow stands on a painting that looks modern and abstract.
Huh.
What is this? A clan sign? A tribal banner?
Maybe it's like the cool S. I don't know. Maybe it's just a cool thing. Who knows? I do not know. I'm not a Pleistocene guy. I'm a dinosaur guy. I apologize if I sound flippant right now, but this is I don't know. You do kind of wonder how much time and effort and forethought went into this stuff, and how much of it was just pure, you know, caution thrown to the wind artistic expression like this. I don't know. I don't know. Prehistoric Windows logo, yeah. Windows 10,000 BC. Windows 10,000 BC.
In a deep and inaccessible shaft, off by itself, they found this group: a woolly rhinoceros, A man, the only human figure in the cave, apparently.
What's he doing there? What's that protrusion? Oh boy.
Dead and with a bird's head. Nearby, a totem-like bird on a stick. A bison, pierced through with a spear, his entrails coming out.
But the bison killed him? Is that the idea? And Clockwork Ninja, I do not hate mammals. Shoot. Clockwork Ninja, some of my best friends are mammals. How could you say that? Window singular. There you go, Lugnito. Yeah. Window or cave entrance. Before there was window, there was cave entrance. And thank you, Nell, for the hydrate. Cheers.
Of what ancient tragedy does this tell?
Looks like that guy got stomped by a bison, maybe. R.I.P., that guy.
The side of one of the largest sections of the cave was covered with huge black bulls, some of them 20 feet long. And worked in among them were other animals like these galloping ponies. And this brown horse. Nowhere in the history of cave painting had animals so large as these ever been found.
Very cool. It's, you know, maybe this is actually depressing if you think about it a certain way. Because here, think about it like this. Maybe this is actually proof of human stagnation. That we're just the same as we were back then, you know? Because I asked this question, I pose this, challenge everyone with this question here. Has anyone here ever seen any cave paintings that are better than these? These were done, what, 15,000 years ago? Cave painting technology stopped 15,000 years ago? Have we not progressed since then? I mean... Human society, you know, yeah. We definitely peaked early, says Zucchini Puff. I'm joking here, everybody. I'm making a joke. But yeah. I met you at 50,000 years ago, Dinosaur Dave. What is this right here? Aboriginal cave art from 50,000 years ago. This is also really good. Holy cow, Dinosaur Dave. This is nice stuff. I bet you they even have some reptiles depicted, like monitor lizards, probably, right? There's a giant kangaroo there? Beautiful. Yeah. Anyway. I don't know. Art, yeah. At least cave art. When did we stop doing cave art, people? You know? Yeah. But yeah. And they restored it. It's true, Melissa Totals. Yeah. Yeah. Procoptodon. Yeah, it could be that giant kangaroo. Murph. I'm not sure. Anyway, jokes aside, let's continue this.
In the neck of a great bull was an exquisite little deer.
No. Oh, yeah. Look at that little deer. Hey, little deer.
All around, the magnificent bulls, standing strong and resolute, as they had for thousands of years.
What a real banger here, this
What
song.
had the boy's dog led them into that fateful day in 1940? Scholars think it was a temple devoted to securing through magic an abundance of food in those remote times when man was solely a hunter, before he had learned to raise crops or before he domesticated animals.
Or before he learned to broadcast his picture and his sound on twitch.tv. Today I can gain my sustenance through such things as veggie burgers that I acquire from the supermarket, provided to me through subscribers and gifters and cheerers on this channel. But back then, you had to go, you know, spear an ungulate. You had to go murder some megafauna in order to, you know, get some veggie meat, or some real meat, actually. Yeah.
When were these paintings made? Scientists say the newest about 12,000 years ago, and the oldest about 30,000.
Holy cow, really?
Here
Again, take this with a grain of salt. This is from 1952. I'm sure we've got better information nowadays. Don't take that to heart.
Glasgow, in paintings, signs and dots, are perhaps the beginning of man's religion, his writing, his mathematics, and his art. Surely it was a day filled with magic, too, that revealed to these two French boys such a deep glimpse into mankind's distant past.
Well, very, very nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. And has Tom Scott got something on this, Murph?
Somewhere in the hills.
Ooh, this is Chauvet. We're talking about Lascaux today, but maybe we'll watch this anyway, because Tom Scott is usually pretty good with his red shirt. Yeah. And Claire's got a video too. Oh, that's the same one we were watching. Thank you, Claire, for posting that. Sorry, I didn't do it. Thank you, Claire. Yeah. Yeah. And Milicia Total, what are you saying? Milicia Total. Nobody else could have seen that image because it got flagged, or that message. Anyway, Milicia, appreciate you. Yeah. You can't say "I will kill you" in chat. It will get flagged, even if it's a joke. Oh boy. Yeah. Anyway. Good stuff. Let's watch Tom Scott talking about a different cave. Chauvet. Of course, we're talking about Lascaux because it was on this day in 1940 that Lascaux was discovered, but let's watch this other one too, because it's also about cave paintings. Maybe it'll give us some interesting insights. Let's take a look.
Just over there is the Chauvet Cave. It was discovered in 1994, and inside is artwork that's around 30,000 years old. Some of the best preserved cave paintings anywhere in the world. It's a connection to ancestors who lived tens of millennia before history began. Only a lucky few people are ever allowed in that cave, and almost all of them are scientific researchers and conservators. There's no...
So unfortunately, it's going to be a very short video. We're not going to get to see inside. They're going to be like, what, you're a YouTuber? Buzz off.
No way that some guy with a camera is ever going to get in there.
Yeah. Shoot. A very short video, but thank you for sharing there. I appreciate it. Now let's... No, I'm kidding. Let's watch the rest of it.
Right.
The Chauvet Cave is the oldest painted cave we know of. The cave has been rediscovered the 19th of December 1994.
Nice.
It has been a tremendous discovery. It has pretty much changed everything we thought until then. Roughly 1,000 representations, paintings, drawings, engravings. The engravings are white in color.
By the way, there's Coelodonta right there. Oh boy. Coelodonta The woolly rhinoceros. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there were rhinoceros in Europe until just a few thousand years ago. That is pretty cool. Holy moly.
Paintings, drawings, engravings. The engravings are white in color, the paintings are red, and the drawings, which are made with charcoal, are black.
This is beautiful.
This isn't the real cave. It's a replica called Chauvet 2.
Ah, they had us in the first half, you know? They really got us there. Oh, boy. What? What? I guess it's for the best. It's an exact reproduction of the real thing because the real thing, I'm sure, is incredibly delicate. I was just thinking that when he said charcoal. When he said charcoal, charcoal is, for anybody who's worked with charcoal before as an artistic medium, charcoal on paper especially is it's very delicate. It does not, got to spray that stuff with some fixative or something, you know? So it makes sense. It makes sense that this is a replica.
This isn't the real cave. It's a replica called Chauvet 2. And when I say replica, I don't just mean the art, but the shapes of the cave walls that it's painted on were laser scanned and recreated. Cavers and historians would be able to pick up things that give it away, like the suspiciously well-maintained lighting, but...
That's very cool, actually. Now, I did not know this. I'm glad we watched this. This is really cool because, you know, it kind of reminds me of like a fossil cast that you see in a museum. A mounted skeleton, cast bones. It's not the original. You're not risking damage to the original, but you're still, you know, giving visitors a sense for what the real thing is like with as much exactness as you can muster. This is cool.
To a layperson, this is roughly the experience you'd get standing in the original Chauvet cave if it had been turned into a tourist attraction, complete with a lot of other exhibits outside. So
ooh, yeah. We got Mammuthus primigenius, woolly mammoth. We've got Megaloceros right here. The Irish elk. Enormous antlers. Crazy cool.
So my question is, if you can replicate something this accurately, how much does it matter that it's not the original?
The original cave was scanned several times. So we've gathered a point cloud that was made of 16 billion points.
16 billion points. And you might look at that and go, oh, that's a big number. But a billion is a lot more than a million. It's 1,000 times larger, in fact. And it's one thing to just say that like, oh yeah, a million is bigger than a billion. It's a billion is 1,000 millions. But think about it this way, actually. Think about it in terms of time, maybe, to really kind of wrap your mind around this, to actually feel this viscerally, how much bigger a billion is than a million. Where, what was it? If we're thinking in terms of seconds here, 1,000,000 seconds is about 13 days, right? So 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. 1,000,000 seconds is about 13 days, right? 1,000,000,000 seconds is about 37 years. There's a big difference between a million and a billion. 11.56 days. Thank you, Garnastuda. Appreciate you. 11.5 days. 1,000,000 seconds is 11.5 days. Billion seconds is like 36, 37 years. That's nuts. So, yeah. So, 16 billion points here. There is a tremendous amount of detail here in this scan.
Several times. So we've gathered a point cloud that was made of 16 billion points. The original Chauvet cave takes roughly 500 meters to get from the entrance to the end of the cave, so it is really huge. In the original cave you could walk for 5, 6, 7 minutes and see nothing. It would have been waste to recreate the cave as it was, because the point was to make it more accessible. So it has been reduced, but if there's something that we did not change, it's the drawing themselves, the representation. They're where they're supposed to be. You see them in the order that you're supposed to see them in the original cave. And if at some point we've changed sizes of some rooms, we did not touch the walls on which the paintings and
31 years. Is that right, Charlie's Dragon? Did I get that wrong? Anyway, it's a lot of years.
The drawings were made. They're exactly in the same place, in the very same shape as the original ones. The walls are concrete. The finer details, such as bones, stalactite, stalagmite, and so on. It is resin, modeled to the shape of the original cave.
Yeah, resin's a good material for this kind of thing.
Is recreated by hand. They've been made as precisely as could humanly be possible, to the millimeter, actually. They did not only do it by hand, but they did use the very same type of wood to make the charcoal.
Holy cow, so it's still done with charcoal. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And the painting, the reddish painting, they're made of hematite, the same type of rock that was used by the prehistoric painters.
Tourists aren't allowed in the original cave
dinosaurs is the absolute prerequisite to the evolution of large mammals and to our own existence, for that matter.
Tila J. Brown, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here.
Very good reasons. That lesson was learned at Lascaux, another cave a few hours west of here. That was also filled with prehistoric art. It was discovered in 1940 and it was opened as a tourist attraction, which destroyed it. Not completely, but the presence of 1,000 people a day and the changes in temperature.
Hang on a minute. Lascaux, our cave that we're talking about right now, the one that was discovered on this day in 1940? What?
Historic painters.
Tourists aren't allowed in the original cave for very good reasons. That
Shoot, what happened to Lascaux?
Lesson was learned at Lascaux, another cave a few hours west of here. That was also filled with prehistoric art. It was discovered in 1940 and it was opened as a tourist attraction, which destroyed it. Not
shoot.
Not completely, but the presence of 1,000 people a day and the changes in temperature and humidity and carbon dioxide levels and contaminants that all of them brought along, well, it meant that after tens of thousands of years of stability, bacteria, fungi, and algae took over the walls. Despite desperate conservation efforts through the 20th century, the Lascaux cave will never, ever be what it once was.
Oh, boy.
The prehistoric entrance of the Chauvet cave is sealed off. Tons and tons of rock that collapsed right on the entrance and sealed it off. All the people, all the animals that got inside of the cave during prehistoric times, they cannot possibly enter the cave anymore, and it has been so for at least 21,000 years. The fact that the cave has been isolated from the outside world, it made the atmosphere here very stable, which allowed the paintings and the drawings to be preserved the way they are.
The trouble is, tourists like visiting the real places. There is something about actually being there, about standing exactly where an ancestor painted on a wall, and this cave can't provide that.
It's kind of like when you go to a museum and, you know, for instance, if we were talking about one of the dinosaurs that I dug up, here. We were talking about Yoshi's trike earlier, this Triceratops specimen that I helped dig up, and there's one of my jackets. Yeah, I did the little art on some little cave paintings I did myself on the jacket there. This is a cast there at Museum of the Rockies. You can go see this, but sometimes you have visitors ask, well, are those the real fossil bones? And you go, well, no, those are exact copies of the real fossil bones. But the real ones are downstairs in the collections because they're extremely delicate. They're very, very heavy, much heavier than this replica. And they are currently being studied. Hopefully, to one day be described as a new species of Triceratops, intermediate between Triceratops horridus and Triceratops prorsus, at the bottom and the top of the Hell Creek Formation, respectively. This is an intermediate form. And people are really disappointed sometimes. We're like, well, I came here to, see the real thing. Well, it's like, well, shoot, that might not be good for the real thing, for it to be in a place where you can see it like that. Like, it is important for people to be able to see real fossils. I believe that strongly, but sometimes we lack the budget or the wherewithal to show you the real thing. Sometimes we got to show you a replica. You know? And visitors are disappointed by that sometimes. In the same way that visitors to, this replica cave painting in France might, they might not be super happy about that. So there's a balancing act that you got to perform here between preserving the original thing and making sure that it will be there for future generations, both of, well, mostly scientists, but, people to appreciate it too, tourists and whatever. And then actually having something that is readily accessible to the general public. Anybody who's ever worked in a museum setting, like a public museum setting, will tell you the public can be incredibly destructive. Like, people love to try and climb on exhibits and break pieces off and just slobber and drool and get their finger grease all over everything. People are incredibly destructive sometimes. Even to replicas. Exactly, Golganak. Shoot. Back in, I won't tell you what year, but, yeah, a number of years ago, at the University of California Museum of Paleontology, there's a Tyrannosaurus skeleton that you can see there. It's a replica. It's a cast. The UCMP T-Rex. This is a cast of the Wonko Rex, whom we talked about last Tuesday, a week ago today. It's a beautiful mount, and it is beloved on campus. But in, I won't say what year, not trying to date myself here, they had some sort of like a university trustees and donor soiree in this building underneath the Tyrannosaurus skeleton. And maybe they moved those stanchions and the velvet ropes further in or something, but some person during this donor event decided it would be a great idea to steal one of the finger claws. It was this one right here on the left hand. The digit 2 claw of the Tyrannosaurus. Someone decided to steal it. It's a replica. It was, plaster or resin to start with, but somebody's just decided, probably some wealthy captain of industry or something, they decided it'd be a great idea to try and steal that. And so I had to replace that when I was a volunteer back in, I won't tell you what year. I made a cast of one of the other claws on the other hand, and then painted it as best I could to make it look identical, and then put it back on there. It's still on there today. So yeah, creation of Adam. There you go, Nell. Yeah. So anyway, the public can be really rough on things, even replicas, So I can understand that. I can understand that here,
It made the atmosphere here very stable, which allowed the paintings and the drawings to be preserved the way they are.
The trouble is, tourists like visiting the real places. There is something about actually being there, about standing exactly where an ancestor painted on a wall, and this cave can't provide that. But it isn't a Disney World mock recreation. It's pretty accurate and just a few kilometers away from the original. The sights, the physical sensations are close, except you don't have to be harnessed in and climb down a big ladder to get here. If the original cave had been open to tourists, it would have been changed, maybe devastated. Would this feel the same if someone built this replica in Paris or in London or Sydney? How much does the context of the experience matter? How important is authenticity? I don't have the answers to any of that, but I can say that a few times while I've walked around here, even with the rational knowledge that it's not the same place, even knowing that I will exit through the gift shop, for a few seconds, a bit of my brain was fooled. Although maybe that's because I got to be in here alone after hours. Either way, I do like one idea, that in another 30,000 years' time, some future archaeologist is going to be really confused by two identical caves next to each other.
The huge amount of painted caves we've discovered yet, all the art they've left us, it shows us that those societies were in good health, because if they did have time to do all of this, it's because they had free time. And it shows they do have a life, they do have culture, they do have art, as we do today. They might have not done it for the very same reason, but they do have it. And it shows that they do not just merely survive, they live.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Maybe that's a big part of what it is to be human, you know? And not just survive, but to live. To do things that we find fulfilling. Like create art. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. And Arctic Nemesis, I have not seen this near Kanab, Utah. No. Interesting. It's funny, like, as a dinosaur paleontologist, I see some of this, and I think, oh, that looks like a dinosaur track right there, like a big theropod track. We do know that, in some places, ancient peoples in North America, made cave art of dinosaur tracks because they saw dinosaur tracks nearby. Who knows what they thought of them, but, yeah, that's pretty neat. Arctic Nemesis, that's very neat. I don't actually know where Kanab is. It's probably in southern Utah, isn't it? This looks very red. It almost looks like it's near St. George or something like that. But I did a ton of field work in Utah over the past few years. Well, a good amount. And I live streamed some of it. Check that out on the YouTube page if you want to go back and see some live dinosaur digs on video. Yeah. And it's east of St. George. Oh, very cool, Clairbird. Thank you. Yeah. And Chismo McSolo, thank you for the kind wishes. Appreciate you. I'm doing well. I hope you are too. Yeah. Anyway. Good stuff. And Kennedy says, are there any tracks that indicate dinosaur speed? I believe there... Well, I know there are. I think I might have a clip about that, though. Yeah, shoot. I know I just saw this the other day. I'm trying to figure out where it was. Yeah. Is it here? This old Christopher Reeve narrated documentary? It might be. But yeah, there's a pretty simple calculation that you can do to figure out how fast a dinosaur was moving based on its footprints. And I'm trying to find you that clip here. Yeah. Well, here's a TEDx talk with Martin Lockley. I was lucky enough to be at a conference with Martin Lockley this past summer, which was really, really cool. I even tweeted about that. Let me find that for you real quick. Shall I? Yeah. Let's scooch back to... before fieldwork this summer. Yeah. There we go. Fossil footprint expert Martin Lockley right here, gesturing toward the Moab Mega Track Site, a single surface containing untold numbers of early Cretaceous dinosaur tracks. This is so big it extends across several states. Across Utah, across Colorado, and possibly into Oklahoma, I think. Really amazing. And here's the only dromaeosaur or raptor dinosaur trackway yet discovered in North America, with trackway expert Martin Lockley explaining. Yeah. Pretty cool stuff. This is near Moab, Utah. Anyway, let's take a look at this video that he's got here. Yeah. Martin Lockley is a dinosaur trackway expert, and he'll probably talk about that formula in this, I'm guessing. I've never seen it before.
I'm a paleontologist, which means I have what I'm told is every 7-year-old's dream job. But I don't spend my time digging up the remains of dead animals. Instead, I'm on the trail of clues left by dinosaurs and other extinct animals when they were active and very much alive.
Yeah, very nice. And Nell says, next month I'll be going on a date with my girlfriend to the Dinosaur Museum near Salt Lake. Near Salt Lake or in Salt Lake? Is it the NHMU, Natural History Museum of Utah? I did a live stream from there. It's super cool. We had a reception there, by the way. I was there multiple times this summer. It's good stuff. Now, I'm excited to see what I've picked up from you from all these streams I've been around, so I can share with her. That's awesome. Now, hey, give me a little while, and I'll see if I can get that video uploaded to YouTube. My video from that museum, so you can watch it first. Maybe you'll pick up something from that. Yeah, oh man, it's a great museum. It's excellent. You're really gonna like it. Yeah, yeah.
If I were to share with you some tracking tips, could you also become master trackers and find these same clues? Why not? 50 years ago, most paleontologists thought that fossil footprints, which we also call trace fossils, were rare and unimportant. In fact, some scientific journals...
I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
...papers on fossil footprints without even sending them out for review. And this was because, at that time, it was mostly all about bones. And you can see this by just looking at how many dinosaur skeletons there are in museums around the world. But sometimes these bones don't tell us quite as much as we might think. Take a look at your own body. You've got one skeleton, right? But how much could we really learn about you and all your day-to-day activities just by looking at your bones alone? Not much, perhaps. Fossil footprints, therefore, help us to bring these bones alive. They are the nearest thing we really have to motion pictures or movies of extinct animals. So there's a big difference between the study of fossil footprints or trace fossils and bones. For example, imagine a dinosaur track site the size of a football field with 5,000 or maybe even 10,000 fossil footprints. This is direct evidence of the activity of dozens, possibly hundreds of dinosaurs going about their daily activity.
There we go, yeah.
Sites like this give us dinosaur detectives the ultimate CSI challenge. And so it's no wonder that the famous Sherlock Holmes once said, "There's no branch of detective science so important and so much neglected as the art of tracing footsteps."
Huh.
He fully understood the importance of fossil footprints.
No, as a fictional character, but whatever. Yeah.
And behavior of track makers that had left the scene of the crime. Fossil footprints bring animals back to life then. Today I'm on the trail of a T-Rex, tomorrow I'm tracking a Stegosaurus. The living animal can walk, run, hop, skip, jump, dig a burrow, excavate a nest.
Yep.
Tracks will tell us the direction an animal's going in, whether it was a small or large, a juvenile or an adult. Tracks of fast-moving dinosaurs can even tell us that they could outsprint Usain Bolt at 30
there you
miles
go.
per hour.
Yeah.
They also tell us if an animal was limping or injured, or whether it was traveling alone or in a group. Tracks, therefore, played a pivotal role in what we call the dinosaur renaissance of recent years. This is when dinosaurs got a sophisticated makeover, and they were no longer regarded as stupid, defunct failures. Instead, they were transformed into dynamic, athletic, intelligent movie stars. They've probably
that's a good way to put it.
A few hundred fossil footprint sites over the years. So let me take you on a little field trip to one of my favorite locations, South Korea. Here on the shores of South Korea.
And Nell says, Danny, it's either Stewart's or an NHM. Stewart's? What's Stewart's? I'm not familiar with that. There's the museum in Lehi, Utah, which is the North American Museum of Ancient Life, which has recently gotten a new name. I forget what it's called. There's a museum in Provo. There's a museum in Fruita, Colorado. Oh, the park in Ogden. Oh, gotcha. Now, okay, yeah, that's a cool park. I'd recommend going to the actual museum though, if you can manage that. It's way up the hill, going up like the foothills of the mountains in Salt Lake. So it's on the very east part of the city. It's on University of Utah campus. Holy cow, is it cool though? I would highly recommend that. If you've got if you're 50-50 on it, go with NHMU. Go with the museum. Yeah.
We see these rocky steps, and each one represents a mini landscape 100 million years old.
Very cool.
If we look at this first surface, we'll see one of those fast-moving theropods heading off to the north at high speed. On the next level, we see a series of parallel trackways representing the dinosaurs we call brontosaurs. They were probably sub-adults,
sauropods,
not fully grown, but they were still larger than baby elephants.
Lugnudo says, does Dinosaur Colorado have anything cool? Yeah, they've got some street signs. Their streets are named after different dinosaurs. Lugnudo, yeah. Apart from that, there's not a lot in Dinosaur Colorado, honestly. I can maybe show you some of the coolest stuff that I have photos of from 2021. Let's see here. Dinosaur Colorado. Do I not have that? Maybe Lordy took those photos. Shoot, maybe I don't. Maybe she took all those photos. I don't think I have them in my camera here. Shoot. It's just straight to straight to Vernal, Utah, which is yeah. Welcome to Dinosaur Land. Vernal, Utah. Anyway, I don't think I really have. Shoot. Yeah. That's a shame. Yeah. Oh well. Dinosaur is a town name? Yeah, very small town in Colorado. Dinosaur, Colorado. In fact, let's pull up a little video. Yeah.
Here today's adventure.
Anyway, let's get to the... Man, this is a long video. Let's make with the dinosaurs, please. This is Vernal, Utah. Still, there's Dinosaur, Colorado, I think. Yeah, they don't really have the best stuff there. Anyway, Dinosaur, Colorado is just outside of Dinosaur National Monument. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anywho.
On the next level, we see the tracks of thousands of birds. These are only 1 inch long.
Very cool.
But they're indistinguishable from the tracks of a modern sandpiper or a plover on the lake shore. Up on the next level, we see another trackway of a giant. This is a animal with a footprint 3 feet in diameter. It must have weighed 10 tons and been 100 feet long. On the next level...
I'm sorry, what? That looked like a tridactyl footprint. What's he saying there?
Animal with a footprint 3 feet in diameter. It must have weighed 10 tons and been 100 feet long.
A dinosaur 10 ton would be like, that'd be like 50 feet long. Whatever. Okay, I don't know.
On the next level,
yeah,
we find the extraordinary trackway of a bipedal crocodile.
Oh, and thank you, Gold Emmer Leopard. Oh, very cool. You found a photo you have of Brown, the truck. He was two-tone. Brown lower and black upper, very much like in Jurassic Park 3. Nice, Gold Emmer Leopard. Oh, cool. Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Rare. And they probably looked like the carnivorous dinosaurs and were just as ferocious at 15 feet long.
And these are not dinosaurs. Those are
one more level,
Prestasuchians or something.
Tracks of a lizard. And next to it, the tracks of a heron-like bird. This heron might have been a lizard eater. Well, we haven't walked that far along the shoreline, but we still stepped up through 1,000 years, represented by 5 or 6 layers of strata.
Pretty cool.
Each surface is a mini landscape. Each surface is a time-lapse frame in a documentary about life along a 100 million year old Korean lakeshore. When we go,
this is really neat stuff. So I'll share this video with you right here. You can watch it in full whenever you would like. Now that you've got that link. Yeah. Yeah. Here, give me a second. I think we might be able to find another clip here that would be useful. Looking. I don't think that's it there. shoot, I don't know if I'm able to find that. That's okay. Anyway, yeah. Anyway. Let's see if we can find some more videos on Lascaux and get back to that topic here. Because I don't feel like I know enough about this yet. Scrolling through these, trying to find something decent here. What can Stone Age art tell us about extinct animals? Lascaux Caves. Discovery, let's say. Yeah. Ooh, here's one in French. Let's take a look, shall we?
This story takes place in 1940.
Good, it's translated.
For more context, it was right at the start of the war.
Oh boy.
Sunday, the 8th of September 1940 starts.
I heard it was September 12th. That's why we're streaming this today. Wait, September 8th? What? I'm sorry, what?
It was right at the start of the war. Sunday, the 8th of September 1940 starts with a boy called Marcel Ravidat, nicknamed the Convict, who with his friends discovered the entrance to the Lascaux Caves.
On September 8th, he says. I read it was on the 12th. Wikipedia also says the 12th, I believe. Right? On the 12th of September, 1940, the entrance to the Lascaux Cave was discovered on the La Rochefoucauld-Montbel lands by 18-year-old Marcel Ravidat when his dog, Robot, investigated a hole left by an uprooted tree. Ravidat would embellish the story in later retellings, saying that Robot had fallen into the cave. Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
His friends discovered the entrance to the Lascaux Caves. On this day, he had gone after his dog.
And the T's are silent at the end of. I know that intellectually, SB. Sometimes you just get things wrong when you're doing something live in a. Yeah.
On this day, he had gone after his dog, who had chased a fox or a rabbit, when he kicked a stone with his foot, and it tumbled down into this little hole and made an echo that brought everyone running. And so the little group gathered around the hole and immediately thought back to the legend that had been told for generations, a story of an underground passage that was said to exist between the Montignac Castle and a manor house, just at the foot of the hill, known as the Lascaux Manor. Anyway, they were not able to explore it that day because they didn't have a torch. They left saying, "We'll see later, but we need to go back and explore this famous underground passage." 4 days later, Marcel Ravidat fashioned.
4 days later, the 12th. There we go. Not a time zone difference there. Whoever said that. Dinosaur Dave, very funny. They came back 4 days later.
Fashioned himself a torch and a knife, but none of
Today,
his friends
September
wanted to go
12th.
along. On the way, he met 3 other boys from the village, Jacques Marçal, Georges Agnel, and Simon Quincas. So he convinced them to come with him, and so it was these 4 who simply unblocked the entrance. It took them a good hour to do it, because they couldn't get through at all. By clearing the entrance, it was Ravidat who succeeded in making his...
Is that a video game joke there? Now they spent 4 days on a loading screen. Yeah, there you go. Took a long time for that cave scene to render, you know?
Head first.
Yeah.
And all 4 began exploring the first hall little by little. So, the first painting that they saw was the red cow with the black head that is to the left at the entrance of the axial gallery.
Oh, very
Then,
cool.
they began making discovery after discovery on the walls. A bull here, a horse there, a line of deer, and so on. The initial shock for them was aesthetic. Then there was a second shock that I refer to as a mystical or cultural shock. What was it? They didn't know. On the other hand, the images spoke to them. There were bulls, horses, deer, animals that they recognized. But they had no idea of the age or why they were there.
Yeah.
So they tried to keep the cave a secret.
Hmm.
Their idea was to tell their old teacher, Leon Laval, who immediately recognized the site as prehistoric. Laval said they had to speak to Abbé Breuil, who was the greatest expert in prehistory of the era. On the 22nd of September, barely 9 days after the discovery, they were lucky enough to have the cave authenticated by Abbé Breuil.
Holy
In the
cow.
ensuing hubbub, crowds of journalists arrived to make it national and even international news.
Very cool stuff. What a lovely little video there, and I'm glad that kind of came together. I was wondering about the timeline, and yeah. And shoot, here we go again. Sorry, this is a little loud. Turn that down.
Lascaux cave paintings discovered near Montignac, France. A collection of prehistoric cave.
This is like AI voice. Ugh. Basura. Afuera. We don't need that right now. Yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at... Oh, we just watched this. Pleistocene. Let's take a look at this, perhaps.
From about 18,000 until 10,000 BC, long before Stonehenge and the pyramids, back when mammoths and saber-toothed cats still roamed the earth, prehistoric people painted deep inside caves in this part of Europe. These weren't just crude doodles, but huge and sophisticated projects, executed by artists and supported by an impressive culture, the Magdalenians.
And Betmother says Rick Steves. I'm not familiar with this guy.
Dinosaurs were the sort of creatures
Is he cool?
you might think of as inhabiting another planet.
Thank you,
Or
Phoenix.
the kind you dream of in a bad nightmare.
33 months from Phoenix90FR. Thank you so much for the ongoing support, Phoenix. I really appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me here online through your generous and continuous support. Couldn't do this without good people like you, so thank you, Phoenix. Yeah.
The region's limestone cliffs, honeycombed with painted caves, are unique on this planet. Tourists gather nearby at Lascaux, home of the region's and the world's most famous cave paintings. These caves were discovered accidentally in 1940 by four kids.
Yeah,
and
September
their
12th,
dogs.
1940.
Over the next
This
couple
very
decades, about 1 million visitors climbed through the prehistoric wonderland, inadvertently tracking in fungus on their shoes and changing the humidity and the temperature with their breathing. In just 15 years, the precious art deteriorated more than in the 15,000 years before that. The caves were closed to the public. Visitors can now experience the wonder of Lascaux by touring an adjacent replica.
There we go. Oh boy.
When their time comes, visitors are called to meet their guide for a look at the precisely copied cave called Lascaux 2.
Very cool.
Then we are in the auction room, the most spectacular room of Lascaux. It's a sacred place. We don't live in a church. They never lived in the caves. And it's a huge composition. It's a calculated composition because they have taken advantage of the strip of rock to relate in a circle.
I love the art history language that is used to describe these. This is a really, really interesting confluence of history and art and archaeology and even some paleontology in here. Like this amazing composition. Like it's funny how art criticism language It's just a really interesting confluence of different fields, I guess, is what I mean to say.
It's a huge composition. It's a calculated composition because they have taken advantage of a strip of rock to relate in a circle two groups of bulls facing each other. And in the center of this composition, they have united the three principal animals of Lascaux: horse, ox, and deer.
Is this a hunting scene?
No, it's not a hunting scene because on the walls, the hunter doesn't exist.
No hunter there.
The everyday life, the meaning is more complex.
What is the biggest animal?
Is this bull? Is the largest painting in the cave art, 16 feet from the top of the horn to the tip of the tail.
Larger than a real bull.
The guide explains that this 600-animal multi-cave composition was the work of a complex society, the Magdalenians. Their culture allowed for skilled artists to work over an extended period of time in this sacred place.
They fix maybe on the walls a dream, a myth, a knowledge, and the image will be able to across generations. The image becomes the memory of the society. The heart of Lascaux is supposed to be around 17,000 years old. But compared to the beginning of the humanity, which was born in Africa 3 million years ago, Lascaux
or something like that, yeah.
They were like us.
Yeah, modern humans, pretty much.
The region has many more examples of prehistoric cave painting, and the nearby National Museum of Prehistory provides an instructive background. This modern museum houses over 18,000 bones, stones, and fascinating little doodads, all uncovered locally. Artifacts are originals and show that while the Magdalenian people lived 15,000 years ago, they were far more advanced than your textbook cavemen. Skeletons were discovered draped.
Oh, very cool, Batman. They're nice.
Stag teeth and tiny shells were, it seems, lovingly drilled to be strung into necklaces. These barbed spearheads and fishhooks would work well today. Finely carved spear throwers show impressive realism for something 3 times as old as the oldest pyramids.
Holy cow, that's very cool.
Imagine flickering flames from these oil lamps lighting those art-covered caverns.
Was there oil lamps there?
Today, as we ponder the prehistoric caves and the artifacts of the Magdalenian people here in the Dordogne, we can marvel at how much we actually have in common with these people and how sophisticated their culture was so long ago.
And again, it's amazing that they, cave art reached its peak back then. Our cave art today. How much cave art have you gone to see in the past month, chatters? Probably none, right? It peaked back then. Pretty cool. So, yeah. Good stuff. Anyway, yeah. Let's take a look at this. Yeah.
If Montignac did not have the Lascaux Cave, it would simply be a tiny village among the many others in the Périgord Noir region. Everyone was well aware of its value as a tourist destination. Some construction works made it possible to open the cave to the public in 1948. However, little did anyone know that when this construction was carried out, it destroyed the system that allowed the cave to be preserved.
Oh boy.
The cave changed, and the phenomenon resulted in 2 minor afflictions. The first, which was quite spectacular, was a growth of algae and microorganisms on the walls, creating a green covering. The second, which was more insidious, was white mold that could have led to an increase in calcite and the creation of small white spots on the paintings. For this reason, the cave was closed in 1963 by André Malraux, though the aim was to eventually reopen it again. But this didn't happen. and we gently warmed to the idea of a copy. However, this was to be a long story, and ultimately it was the Dordogne region which took up the project between 1976 and 1978 and saw the work through to the completion of Lascaux II between 1978 and 1983.
Interesting.
In 1983, there was a trial opening, which was a success that no one had dared hope for. Lascaux II is still open and still attracts visitors.
So Lascaux 2 is the replica.
Reproduction of just one part of the cave, the Hall of Bulls and the Axial Gallery, which are the main painted galleries. The aim of Lascaux 3 is to show the right-hand gallery of panels, and in particular, a gallery that has a huge number of engravings, even though we're in a painted hall. It is interesting to note that at Lascaux there are more engravings than paintings. We're familiar with the paintings, some 600 of them, but there are more than 1,500 engravings.
Holy
we created ultralight walls that can go around the world, though it's just Lascaux 3 that is the
Oh, that's neat. That's really neat. These are modular. This could be a traveling exhibit. You could set this cave up anywhere. That's, as a museum person, this is really, really neat. I mean, check this out.
There are more than 1,500 engravings. We created ultralight walls that can go around the world, though it's just Lascaux 3 that is the jet setter. This brings us to Lascaux 4, which exists both as the result of this story and for another reason, preserve the real cave, which means preserving its environment. Lascaux 2 brings a significant flow of visitors close to the real cave, and this could cause problems.
Here's something stranger than science fiction. Prehistoric fact.
Bronu Sapien, hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Sounds like you're in the right place. Welcome to the channel.
Therefore, to protect the hill, Lascaux 4 was created at the base of the hill and is a reproduction of the entire cave in one place, including Lascaux 2 and Lascaux 3. Which is what visitors can go and see today, the entirety of the cave, plus an information center on prehistoric art.
Very, very cool. Holy moly. If I'm ever in this part of France, I will make sure I visit. That sounds really, really neat. Yeah. Here, let's take a look at this video. I'm learning so much, chat.
Oh, good.
We've come to Asturias to sample small calcite deposits on top of cave art.
Right.
And we can date when
Is this at Lascaux or a different site?
for when the paintings were done.
That's as close as I can get with my hand, so without touching anything.
Already in Spain, we have dated art that is...
So this is in Spain, okay.
15,000 years older than previously thought.
And hi microbiology, how you doing? Welcome, welcome.
Dating to at least 41,000. And what's interesting about that date is that we can't tell at the moment whether in fact it means it was painted by Neanderthals or whether it was painted by the earliest modern humans to arrive in Europe. Modern humans evolved around 200,000 years ago in Africa, but we don't find them using things that express their symbolic thoughts until maybe 100,000 years ago. So the earliest paintings that we have are actually found here in Europe. And there's a really interesting question as to why it was in Europe that painting started rather than in Africa when modern humans have been around for a very long time.
Caves in Africa, perhaps?
There are several reasons why this might be. One is that Europe was populated by Neanderthals at the point at which modern humans arrived, and they may have had to reorganize themselves into different social structures in order to survive, in order to compete for resources and food. And therefore they would need means of maintaining social cohesion, and that could be through new religious practices that required the painting of caves, for example.
Asturias.
We're also interested in
this is new to me, Melissa.
Whether or not human symbolic behavior coincides, for example, with language, or whether human symbolic behavior in fact dates right back to the point at which we start looking like humans, in which our skeletons look like they do today. And then we're also interested in whether or not Neanderthals themselves
there you go, Charlie's Dragon,
could be producing art, and the dating of this will tell us whether or not they are made by modern humans or made by Neanderthals. It is big news, but it's big news, I think, because people have dismissed Neanderthals as symbolic individuals. but in fact elsewhere in Spain we find evidence for Neanderthal use of pigment, perhaps as body adornment, makeup if you like. So it wouldn't be too surprising to find out that they also painted caves.
Interesting. Very, very cool. Yeah. And thank you, Nelt. Cool. Thank you for supplying that. I don't think we're going to watch that right now, but thanks for posting it, though. Interesting stuff. If anybody's interested, check that out. Yeah. Very cool. Let's check on our 3D printer right now. And holy cow, our Psittacosaurus is coming along beautifully right now. Very happy about this. Again, the right side of the skull, already finished. We're working on the left side. And we'll just stick these together. Can't wait to show this to you tomorrow when it's done. But yeah. Very, very nice. Very nice indeed. Yeah. I guess it's important to to recognize the importance of the cave paintings at Lascaux. To think about their significance as a part of human history. It's part of what makes us human. This artistic expression here is a big part of, I think, what makes us us. Whether we're painting contemporary animals on the side of a cave wall, or whether we're, I don't know, streaming here on Twitch, talking about fossil science, the need to express ourselves and to portray information and bring people along on this journey with us. That's a big part of what it means to be a human being, I think. That's pretty cool. Those Lascaux paintings discovered on this very day back in 1940. They're truly a cool part of the human story. It's cool being able to learn about that with you. Again, this is not something directly related to dinosaurs, so I don't know a great deal about it, but it's been fun discovering all of this with you today. And I'm glad you could be here. And SB Harkins' chat is my handprint. I was here. There you go, SB Harkin. There you go. And all of these handprints, including your chat messages, will be on YouTube later. Check out the YouTube page where the VODs all go up for preservation in perpetuity. Anyway, with that having been said, it is now actually time. Oh, wait. No, shoot. I gotta do some ukulele. You're right, Claire Burr. I owe you some ukulele songs before we wrap up the stream. So let me do that. It's been a long day so far. I was already at the museum talking with some other paleontologists, listening to some talks and stuff. And I'm more tired than I was expecting to be. I went to bed late last night, got up early. It's been a full day. But don't let that deprive you of some ukulele here. Thank you to everybody who helped us get to our sub goal for the day. Excellent. Let's play some songs about fossil science, shall we? get into that. Let's do some songs about science. Let's do the Dinosaur March to start off with, shall we? I'm learning some new songs right now, still working on them. But, man, it's hard to find time sometimes. Let's do the Dinosaur March real quick as a nice little intro. Again, this is a thank you to everybody who contributed to our sub-goal today and who's helped keep me here on the air. Some live songs on the ukulele. Starting off the Dinosaur March. This was my students' very favorite song the last time I was teaching full-time. Man, they loved this song. It goes like this. See if you can spot the parts that I made some modifications to. Many, many years ago, before the people came, the animals upon the earth, they did not look the same. They lived for 174 million years, but now they are no more. Except for birds, because we now recognize birds themselves are living dinosaurs. Strictly speaking, dinosaurs never went extinct. Since we've got over 9,000 species of living birds today, they're just about everywhere. Yes, indeed, birds are living dinosaurs. They were the dinosaurs. Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, Stegosaurus, Allosaurus, Ankylosaurus, and Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus Rex. So that's the first verse. There was no second verse when I was learning this song. I had to write my own. And it goes like this. We can learn about these awesome beasts by studying their bones. Skeletons under the ground that partly turn to stone. We dig them up and we clean them, and we raise them off the floor to build a dinosaur. Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, Stegosaurus, Allosaurus, Ankylosaurus, and Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus Rex. There you go, the Dinosaur March. Let's do I'm a Paleontologist next, then we'll wrap up with the Galaxy song. How does that sound? So, our next one, this song was, oh, thank you, Ronin Crisis. Welcome to Paleontologizing. This song has become kind of an anthem here on this channel. I'm a paleontologist. I like singing this song because it's a good song and also kind of true. I mean, I am a paleontologist. It's by the band They Might Be Giants. It goes like this. I love digging in the dirt with just a pick and brush. Finding fossils is my aim, and so I'm never in a rush, because the treasures that I seek, they're rare and ancient things, like Velociraptor's jaws, Archaeopteryx's wings, and all the kids who wanna see them, they're lining up at our museum. I am a paleontologist. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. I am a paleontologist. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. Could it be an herbivore, crushing plants with rounded teeth, or a ferocious carnivore who moves so quickly on its feet? It's like pieces of a puzzle that I'd love to try and solve. So much fun to think about how a species has evolved. And there's all the kids who wanna see them, they're lining up at our museum. I am a paleontologist. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. I am a paleontologist. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. That's who I am. That's who I am. That's who I am. There we go. And one final song. Let's do the Galaxy song to wrap things up. This is not a song that's explicitly about paleontology, but it does deal with the immensity of what we sometimes call deep time, the vastness of the universe, the kind of different perspective that comes along with studying science. This is a song that goes out to anybody out there who maybe had kind of a rough day. Maybe you're feeling a bit down in the dumps. You need that bit of a change of perspective, you know? It comes with studying science, thinking about your place in the universe. And so to you, I will sing, just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving, revolving at 900 miles an hour. It's orbiting at 90 miles a second, so it's reckoned a sun that is the source of all our power. Now the sun and you and me and all the stars that we can see, they're moving at 1,000,000 miles a day in an outer spiral arm 13,000 light years wide of the galaxy we call the Milky Way. Our galaxy itself contains 200 million stars. It's 100,000 light years side to side. It bulges in the middle, 13,000 light years thick, but out by us it's just 3,000 light years wide. Now we're 30,000 light years from galactic central point. We go around every 200 million years. And our galaxy is only one of millions of billions in our amazing and expanding universe. Whoa, 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 The universe itself keeps on expanding and expanding, and all of the directions it can whiz. As fast as it can go, the speed of light, you know, 12 million miles a minute, and that's the fastest speed there is. So remember when you're feeling very small and insecure, how amazingly unlikely is your birth. And pray that there's intelligent life somewhere up in space, 'cause it's hard to find down here on Earth. There you go. Thank you, everybody, for that incredible sub-goal met there. Really appreciate it. And with that having been said, it's time to wrap things up for tonight. There's a Pleistocene mammal. I wonder if there are any saber-toothed cats in the Lascaux caves. Painted there. There might be. But we're going to run our credits over that. Thank you to everyone whose names are appearing in the credits right now. I appreciate you more than you know. Whether you followed, whether you subscribed or resubscribed, whether you cheered with bits, whether you rated, whether you moderated, or whether you just hung out and chat and asked questions, made this community as vibrant as it is, I appreciate you very, very much. We're gonna find somebody to raid here real quick. Let's go say hello to Melissa in Denial. She's playing Assassin's Creed something something. Yes, indeed. Melissa is an archaeologist and an Egyptologist. What a perfect raid target for after a stream discussing ancient human art. That's gonna be brilliant. Well, I hope you're ready for that, chat. Let's go see what she's up to. And I'll see you again tomorrow for another exciting stream. Should be a lot of fun. We're going to discuss fossil news, do some Q&A, and we'll check out that Psittacosaurus that'll be finished by then, too. And No Active One, thank you for the follow. Sneaking that in right under the wire there. Appreciate you. Let's go see what's up with Melissa in Denial. See you there, everybody.